Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of the Champions Cup, already into round 2, and all of these games, of course, crucial for where these sides are going to be sitting for the round of 16. This match, it is the DHL Stormers going head-to-head with STADE ROCHELAIS, or La Rochelle, as they are more formally known to us here in New Zealand, but it's a hot day in South Africa, 37 kilometres of wind as well, so it's going to be a little bit of a blustery one, but the Stormers side, they've been doing very well, no matter what competition that is, Champions Cup or URC, they are sitting with a lot of wins under their belt. Already looking through at the starting lineup, it is absolutely stacked for this game. It is going to be Ntuthuku Machunu, Andre Hugo Fenta, and then Niling Fauchier, starting in as that number 3, Sama Murat alongside JD Schickerling in the locking duo with Paul de Villiers, Ben Jason Dixon, and Evan Roos starting in as that number 16. Tell you what, last week, Paul de Villiers, he's looking like a young standout at the moment for the Stormers side. And the fact that they have got him, Ben Jason Dixon, and Evan Roos for this game in a Eldrit-less La Rochelle loose forward trio, I feel like they'll do very well out there on the home turf. Kobus Reinach alongside Sasha Feinberg and Ngome Zulu, so something that you would see at international level. Now we get to see for the Stormers week in, week out. Lelion Zas out on the left wing. Jonathan Roach and Ruan Nell make up the midfield. Dylan Mart having a great start to his Stormers campaign. He is out on the right. And then Warwick Lant at number 15. So the only player that some would say is missing in terms of that Springbok side of things would be, in this case for the back line, no Damien Valimza. But they still got Sasha, still got Kobus, and still got a lot of talent across the starting side for La Rochelle. It's a bit of a different looking team compared to what we would see if they were taking part in a match in France. Couillou is going to be out there on the field, but you just feel like it's a little bit undercooked in terms of what they could put out there, but it is to do with the home and away legs. You do see a lot of sides, just like last week we saw, teams don't like to send their best side away from home unless they are really looking to get a win every single week. But La Rochelle are expected to lose this game by a good 25-30 points. So we'll have to wait and see if that does happen. But they got Suliasi Vunivalu out on the right wing. Some people will recognise that man from the Reds, as well as the Wallabies. Have to wait and see what he does there. We have good afternoon to Hamish. Hope you had a great week. Says Philip. It's gone very quick. We haven't actually done any videos or streams throughout the week, which feels a little bit weird. It's been quite a long time since we've been live on the channel, but it's been going all right so far. Getting very close to Christmas, only about 11 days away, so that's very stressful. Can't find Mrs. Bulls anywhere or everywhere in the UK. It's becoming a bestseller. I did see just before I started the comments, someone was talking about a Mrs. Bulls. Now, I'm not too sure who that is compared to, of course, Mrs. Claus around the Christmas period, but some lady sells balls and apparently they're quite good. Is it? Oh no, it's chutney. So where's the balls come from? From that side of things, or is that just literally her last name? We have got there Mrs. Balls that's available in New Zealand and Woolworths. Says I Lollipop and in a South African company buy the rights to Mrs. Balls. A lot of Mrs. Balls knowledge in the I was going to say in the crowd, but in the chat for today. Morning, Hamish and everyone. Says Studs Race. I hope you are doing extremely well, mate. Hope you're excited for this game, as well as Sharks versus Saracens just around the corner. That has taken place as well. Mrs. Balls is the brand. So where'd the name come from, though? Because I would have straight away thought that she was selling those little, those balls that are like hard lollies that just stay like suckable for a long time. It's a weird conversation to come into if anyone's just pop it in now. But this game's sitting only about the 10 minutes away from starting up. Have you had boba tea? Chutney on the side is Mrs. Balls. I haven't had boba tea. Is that the one that you have in your drink? Like a coffee, and then there's like the little, I was going to say the little plastic ones, but the little jelly balls in them, right? And Ball is a surname. Okay, that makes more sense for Mrs. Balls. We have got there, hello, says Garland, welcome in, good afternoon, welcome back to New Zealand. How was Dubai? Well, I didn't go, but I covered the Dubai Sevens on the channel last week. And we have got there 8, 9, 10, pretty epic threesome. Yeah, Evan Ruiz, Kobus Reinach, Sasha Feinberg, and Ngome Zulu. Like, this Stormers side should do well. But, and I don't want to fire a shot, we have seen a side before have some brilliant players across their starting lineup and struggle. And they're playing up against Saracens very soon. So we'll wait to see how the Sharks go. But for now, the Stormers, I mean, they are on some Brilliant form. Thank you very much, Mornay, for your donation as well. But what we are going to be doing very quickly is we'll go like this, and we'll go like that as well. So, just recently, we have seen the Stormers get themselves a win in the URC. They were able to win that game up against Munster, 27 points to 21. In the Champions Cup, we did see 26 points to 17, the win for the Stormers over Bayern. They were actually the lone South African side to get themselves a win last week, and it was more substantial as it was away from home for that contest. Next week, they've got the Lions, and then finishing off the year with a game up against the Bulls, which could be quite intriguing. Definitely if the Bulls start to find their rhythm a little bit closer to the end of 2025, but currently the way that the table sits for the URC, as you see, the Stormers, they are at the top of the bunch, 27 points, 6 wins from 6 is how they sit at this point in time. Cardiff in second, Munster in third, Ulster, Glasgow, Leinster, 5th and 6th. Those are the two sides that were near the top of the bunch for last season. The Bulls were in that same boat. They are currently down in 8th, so this URC season, more than almost any other, is completely wide open. And the Stormers, next week, like I mentioned, they'll be just trying to get those wins before the end of the year. Still sit undefeated. In the competition, La Rochelle at the moment in the French top 14, they're actually struggling just a little bit, down in 10th, the way that it currently sits. 5 wins, 6 losses, decent points differential compared to some of the sides that are above them, but it is those wins under the belt. They would have liked quite a few more of it. You can see there, even the top sides have 8 wins, 3 losses, and it just shows the difference. And once again, it comes down to home and away. These sides will absolutely stack their team when they're playing in front of the home crowd. When they're away from home and they feel like they're going to lose, they will just throw together the experimental side and see what happens. It's a bit similar, like I mentioned, to this Champions Cup. If you don't think you're going to win, you just chuck together your B team or your experimental young side and see if they can do relatively well. If not, then you lose the points. If they win, it's a massive bonus and a massive boost to the young players' confidence. This is the way that this group sits at the moment. La Rochelle, they had a good win last week over Leicester. So that gives them that plus 19 points differential. The Stormers, so those were crucial points up against Bayern as they look to make it 2 from 2 in the competition. Have you worked out a way to donate to Kiwi Lads but not through YouTube? No idea how much reloading I'm doing on your commentary, says Thuds Race. So I worked out that PayPal doesn't like me. And I've got to do some sort of extra confirmation because I haven't used it in about 4 years, which I think was the last time we had a channel sponsorship. So that's why I've still got to do a little bit of fiddling, but I should be able to get it sorted hopefully by next week with a bit of luck. But yeah, there are a whole heap of tick boxes and things I had to fill out. Are you doing the Lions game? I'll probably be watching it. Won't be covering it on the channel, though, for their game up against the Newcastle Falcons. And La Rochelle played so fast 2 years ago. It's a shame they lost the pace. Yeah, they had a stacked side a few years ago. You know, you look through, Lavani Bortia was there. They had Will Skelton in that locking duo. In the front row, Bugaret was playing. Gregory Aldred in the loose forward trio. In the back line, they had some phenomenal talent. The Lades brothers, I think, were both there, or maybe just the one. And then they had Bryce Doolan. He's no longer there. Tuera Kurbalo, he's gone. So, you know, La Rochelle, you can argue with the fact that they're sitting in 10th as well. They are not the side that they were a couple years ago. And these two sides have had some pretty decent back and forth games. These are the way that they sat. The last 2 times that they've played, they've both been on South African soil, and both times they have been won by 1 point by either side. This game, though, is expected to be separated by about 30 points. If they played in a last 16 game this competition or a quarterfinal, perhaps La Rochelle would have a very different looking side for this match in South Africa. But for now, it's about resting those players before getting into even more of the top 14 that is coming just around the corner. As we can see here for La Rochelle, they've got Bayern in 9 days' time. That's at home. And then that away game up against Toulouse, which is a bit of a 50-50 of whether or not they will send their strongest side. If Toulouse are resting some players around Christmas, that might be a chance to get a sneaky win. But that game up against Bayern is a must-win for La Rochelle in this year's competition of the top 14. So, you know, once again, it's a shame when you get games where teams look like from their lineup that they're just throwing guys out there for the sake of it and the result's pretty much determined. But who knows? It's rugby at the end of the day. It could all change. Right now, the Bulls cannot care less about defence and not going for titles this season, says Albert. Yeah, yeah, they've had a bit of an interesting run so far, the Bulls. Definitely trying to develop a new, I guess you'd say, tactics, and everything kind of has changed since Jake White. And I think it's going to take time. And that's the tricky part, because the more time that it takes, the more frustrated people get, because people like winning. And as soon as you start losing, that's when your side starts to, have a little bit more stress, and it's not ideal for them, but they will keep on trying, the Bulls. They had a decent showing last week. It was a bit of a weird one. They learnt how strong Bordeaux were, though, I think, in that contest. And this week, they're away from home up against the Saints. Again, it looks like a bit of an experimental side, so it looks like Challenge Cup for the Bulls for the next part. We'll see how the Bulls do with Cade at 10. I rate him. Says, how's it, my brew? And we have got there, thanks, Philip. And also Hughes Skelton won the Heineken Cup a few years ago or so ago, says DJ. And those were fantastic matches, says Studs Race. And there as well. But it is about to get underway. I actually learned they're not at Cape Town Stadium for this game. I actually thought they were, but they are in Gqeberha for this contest. I windy in PL or PE today. I won't be able to go to the game, so we'll rely on your commentary. Here we call Port Elizabeth Dubai. If I said that correctly, that kind of sounded like I was saying Dubai with an accent, didn't it? So I might have mispronounced that. Evans' ban is for internationals only, says on the right. So he's not going to be playing in any of these Champions Cup URC matches, as I believe it is that 12. I'm not sure if it's week or match ban, but he is actually a part of the coaching setup at the moment for the Sharks. He's actually going to be helping them out during the time that he's banned for. Just showing that loose forward trio again. De Villiers, Evan Russ, and Ben Jason Dixon. A lot of Springbok caliber. And there, JP Peterson will most likely be the new head coach. Yeah, if he can get some decent results under his belt, he'll lock in that coaching role. If he does lose a few games and it doesn't get any better for the Sharks, there is a chance that they do look to bring someone in, next season, and JP's more of just that fill-in. We have got their PE. It's still called, because they couldn't afford, change the name signs, says Albert. And we have got there, Ruby, what's the latest regarding the Sharks coach, says Philip. And there as well, but they are just showing the lineups, and then we will be underway in this contest. Some decent options off of the bench for both of these sides in this game. We'll say it is going to be quite interesting seeing Lawaki in action. I believe his brother, Sione Lawaki, recently got himself a chance for the All Blacks 15. Dylan Lane's also going to be making his way off the bench for the La Rochelle side. And then for the Stormers, they've got Similani there. They've got Ruan Ackerman alongside Connie Evans and Marcel Tennyson. So the 6-2 split with Ollie Kebble, Sunday, and JJ Kutsia as the front row replacements for both sides. And ready to make their way out of the tunnel. Do they need an anger management coach? Seriously, though, says on the right. And also we have got there, I don't know why they don't play at, that's a hard one for me to say, Park and George. They're playing at neutral venues, would have sold out quick. Yeah, I think it's because of that Cape Town Sevens competition that they decided they'd go somewhere else, or at least that's why I would go to a different location. But yeah, the Stormers, they're one of those sides that now that they're starting to get a few more wins, they're starting to draw in that little bit more of a crowd, which is fantastic to see. This is, I'd say the stadium, I don't want to guess because I might be wrong, but I'd say 25% full, somewhere around there. And there were some games early on in the Stormers season at Cape Town Stadium anyway, where they were looking at kind of 10 to 15% attendance for those contests. So it is growing for the Stormers, and as they keep on playing well and keep on doing well, they should hopefully be able to keep on selling tickets. But La Rochelle, I have to say, I do really enjoy both of these sides' kits. The bright yellow of La Rochelle, this is a bit of a soft spot in my heart, but then that Stormers new kit, it seems to be people like the new kit, they don't like the new logo of the Stormers, although it is slowly growing on some people as well. That's a nice looking stadium. Says Albert there, hi Amish, the chat says, hey, no, welcome and hope you are doing extremely well. And crikey, that loose forward trio is new. Says Studs Race for La Rochelle, yeah. No Gregory Aldrit for this game. They pretty much have chucked all these young guys out there to see how they go. And I'm going to be honest, some of the names I'm going to absolutely butcher. As you can see, their captain's name is a pretty good one. I know the Lucas part of it, but I think it's Angissa Ramachi or something like that. But it will be intriguing. This game kicking off, though, underway. What type of scoreline can the Stormers create? Already loose ball. It's going to be well claimed by Kuyu. A little bit of pressure early on, though, for the away side. Like I mentioned, the last 2 times that these two sides have played, in fact, the only 2 times that these two sides have played, the games have been separated by 1 point, whereas in this case, it's supposed to be multiplied by about 25 or 30 in favour of the Stormers side. But kicking downfield off the left boot, it's going to be Jordan in that number 10 jersey. And come on, La Rochelle, says Haino there. And Investec should sell those zebra jerseys the kids wore when they ran onto the field. I'll wear that. Next hour, I mean, says Studs Race. And 38-12 in favour of the Stormers, says Philip. Ever been to a French class? Nah. And it probably shows. I know that our school had 1 class of German, and that disappeared. We had 1 term of Māori. That disappeared. But, yeah, we didn't really have a huge amount of options when I was back at school. That makes it sound like it was a long time ago. It wasn't really. Oh, nice sell of the dummy from Sasha trying to cut through. He's expected to have a big game here. Same with Reinach, who does get himself the first start in the number 9 jersey for the Stormers. At least of this new stint. Now Reinach going across to Roach. Now off to the right-hand side here. JD Schickerling with the offload to Waraka Land. They're already looking dangerous. Cross kick attempted by the Stormers. It's going to be in the in-goal area. Placed down by, that looks like Bosmarin, who was going to be starting at 13, but he's got an 11 on his back. So I'm not sure who that is going to be for. Now we have good day. I'm good. Thanks. How about yourself? I am doing all right. I am slightly sunburnt again. Unfortunately, the reapplying of sunscreen has not been something I've been good at. And I burn far too easily. That's a good run forward from the Stormers. Reinach back across to the right-hand side. Couldn't quite get the pot pass up for Andre Hugo Fenter, but a penalty advantage in favour of the home side. Sasha looking for the cross kick. Oh, no, that one's going to sit up nicely, and Dylan Mart scores it 2 minutes into the game, and already the Stormers have struck. And the crowd are loud about it as well. Very happy to see that early try. Dylan Mart, like I said, recently signing for the Stormers. He had a great season for the Riquas throughout the Curry Cup, and since then, just seems to be an absolute try-scoring machine. 6-2 split for the Stormers. So, yeah, they're going for a little bit of extra gas in the tank later on. French top 14 often rely on home field advantage. So may play a role here, says Jonathan. We have got the donation from Philip as well with Let's Get Festive. Thank you very much, Philip. Greatly appreciated. And Dylan Mart already getting himself that try. We have got there Ulrich and Bridget here in Port Elizabeth. 2 big Evan Ruiz fans. Yeah, he is a very handy player in that number 8 jersey, Evan Ruiz. There was a little patch only near the start of the URC where him and also Vincent Tachuka were just tearing it up in the number 8 jersey. Now, since then, I think Vincent Tachuka's only played 8 once. Even though he started off with 2 tries from 2 weeks in the early stages, they keep on shuffling him around. But Evan Ruiz has been that consistent option in that 8 jersey for the Stormers. And he's been going strong each and every week. That kick has missed away to the side, so it will keep the score sitting at 5-0. The Stormers having a great start in this contest. Kicked off long. Looking into the sun, and it's a good take from Evan Ruiz. Ball is available again here. Cobus Reinach looking to roll this one back. They scored when I fetched a new beer. Maybe I can swing this game for the Stormers. To be fair, though, if they score as many tries as they're expected to, and you have to get up to get a beer for every single one of them, you might be in a state, because they're expected to score about probably 8 tries throughout this contest. Cross kick from Sasha Feinberg. Ngomezulu. That one sits up nicely for Lilian Zas, who cuts inwards and bumps off Diego Jurd. To the loose forward trio, it will go for the Stormers. First, Evan Ruiz. Back across to the right-hand side. Explosive start to this game for the Stormers. Cobus Reinach under penalty advantage again. Cross kick from Sasha Feinberg. Ngomezulu. That one doesn't quite sit up the way he would have liked. They're going to go back for the penalty. Margin going to be at least 20 points in favour of the Stormers, says Mohammed. Yeah, it's expected to be about, I think it's 27 or so is the expected margin for the Stormers in this game. Funniest thing for me is DuPont complained because South African teams play B-sides for Champions Cup, but look at the French sides doing the same. I'm so happy when DuPont has to eat his words, says LB. Although I have seen Toulouse's side up against Glasgow, and they have gone pretty stacked. for their away team. So I feel like in his case, Toulouse aren't quite doing it by the looks of it. They want to go for that top spot because they know the importance of that home final. Definitely if it is going to be Bordeaux versus Toulouse for the Champions Cup final, like whoever has home field advantage is probably going to win that game. But for some of these lower sides, it is pretty much, if you're playing away from home, you throw an experimental and you lose. Or you get lucky and win, and then if you're at home, you stack your side and hope for the best. Who scored for the Stormers? It was Dylan Mart. Got himself the early try. That one's going to be overthrown. That one's going to be also knocked backwards by the Stormers. The ball is still going to be in the hands of Kobus Reinach. Pops it up to Salman Murat. Now Schickerling, low tackle made on Sasha, still gets the offload to Watercalant. We've got to remember, this Stormers side are without Damien Valimza at the moment. Now, I did learn that he is out due to injury or just a little bit of a knock that he took earlier on in the week, because I know that was the first question that people were asking when he was left out. La Rochelle resting players this week isn't the same as resting for a quarterfinal. Says Studs Race. That is true. Right, that is going to be no advantage going back. Oh, okay, straight away, Luke Pearce saying to Salman Murat, you know your role well, but it's not to be my director, so tone it down a little bit, is the comment he's just made. So that tells you straight away that Murat may be just trying to help out with the refereeing a little bit too much. He is the skipper for the side, though, so you are allowed a little bit of time to chat. And which player scored the try? It was Dylan Mart, again. He did play for the Riquas in the Curry Cup, but he's now out on the wing. Out into Tuku Machunu. He's in the front row. He was an ex-Sharks man. Toulouse should win over Glasgow later today. Other home clubs should win today. Says Jonathan. The pack weight's very even. 910 kgs for the Stormers compared to the 909 kgs of La Rochelle. They're actually going back for that knock-on advantage, so it is going to be the scrum feed for La Rochelle. 22 metres out from their own line. Now ready to put the ball in. That is a massive push there, stolen by the Stormers at scrum time. That is a statement early on in this contest. Big tackle made by Suliasi Vunivalu. Skip pass. Sasha goes out wide. Lelion Zas with the big old fend. And that is try number 2 in this contest for the Stormers. Now, of course, be a minimum in this game, they want 4. Because that gets you a bonus point. Lelion Zasi has had 4 tries in his Champions Cup career. That one looked a little bit too easy. Sasha already with the 2 assists at this point in time. Yes, Philip, I'm here in Wellington now. Here's Annie, but it's a good run down the wing and a solid fend as well from Lelion Zas. Still had a little bit of work to do to be able to finish it off. Yeah, that is a solid fend to the chest of Sameli Dunevathu, I think it was, out on that wing. Or Vuthu, in fact. And now Sasha is sitting 0 from 1 off the kicking tee. Springboks front row teaching the kids, says LB. Well, it's nice of them to help out the young ones, isn't it? Oh, that one, Sasha has missed again. 0 from 2. That is going to be 10 points to 0. He's frustrated already, Sasha. He knows that he should have got one of those 2 kicks over. And I don't think it's going to cost them in this game. But the last time that these 2 sides played, it came down to who was the better kicking side. And in that case, it wasn't the Stormers. I watched the Wellington game again this week. I think the score was flattering for the Boks, to be honest. They made lots of silly errors in the first 60 minutes, just saying. So here's Ruby, nicely taken by Dylan Mart. Inside of the 22, all trying to go off to the side. So I think it is Sujire who is missing from this La Rochelle backline, because I do see that Dunevathu has moved into the midfield. And then that is why Bosmarin is out on the wing, I think, maybe. Or at least that is part of the reshuffle that they have had. That is going to be the scrum feed in favour of the Stormers just outside of their 22. We're 9 minutes into this contest and already the 10-0 scoreline in favour of the Stormers. Glasgow versus Toulouse predictions. That could be a really good game. And it's a tough one to call. Toulouse should win based on the stackness of their team. But I think that Glasgow at home, maybe not so much this season, but last season would have given them a massive boost. I'll go Toulouse, but not by as big of a margin as they won over the Sharks. I'd say less than 15 definitely, but I'd say less than 10 between them. Sasha needs kicking lessons from Marnie. That's saying something, says LB. And we have got there. Hi, Annie, how are you? Says Philip. Now we are going to get to see the scrum in action again. And Cheetah 7-0 down. Says, hey, no, yeah, they are actually playing at the same time. They normally try and make it so that no matter what, the South African sides are playing at different times, although this time there is a bit of an overlap. It's going to be the penalty, I believe, actually going against Surin here. Sasha able to find the touchline, or at least he should be able to. And yep, that one's gone out, so they have now got themselves the line out with Andre Hugafenta. I think Glasgow at Scoutson, got there in the end, will win. Yeah, although I think that Toulouse certainly have taken that game as one that they can try and sneak. What's the weather forecast for Glasgow? Good even the teams, says Studs Rays. Yeah, I haven't actually seen what the weather's supposed to be doing for that game as of yet. That one's going to be thrown in and stolen at line-out time for La Rochelle, so that'll be a bit of a confidence booster for this young team in this contest. And I have thanks to the commentary, my friend, says Joss, no worries at all. I'm back across to the right-hand side. That one's going to be low. Nice hands from La Rochelle. Little flick pass on the inside. Big tackle made by Ruanel. And it's forced the ball free. Some physicality shown here by the Stormers. They are right next to the sideline. It actually looks like the ball is in touch. But it's going to be play on. Can I ask a question? It says Mohadin, go for it. Going off to the left-hand side of Barnage over. Watakalant goes for the kick in behind. Awkward bouncing ball. Picked up now by La Rochelle. Sasha kicking it free. That's a round the back flick pass too from him. Offload and Ben Jason Dixon, is it? Yes, it is. Another try for the Stormers. That all happened so fast, I couldn't even catch the numbers on some of the players' backs, but that is 3 in a row for the Stormers, and that is 3 assists. Pretty much for Sasha. That one was an assist of an assist. Any Fijians playing for La Rochelle? They have got Sameli Dinivulu, or Vufu, sorry, I should say. And also Suliasi Vunivalu, although he has represented the Wallabies. It's a great offload there. Getting it over, and Ben Jason Dixon. This could be higher than the 30 points. Damani still for the Stormers. He does not know. He is in Japan at the moment. Oh. Okay, they've worked out that the player wasn't touched. That was Evan Ruiz way back. And I think they're actually going to go upstairs to check this one. Okay, so it is going to be a Stormers scrum way back at the halfway line because of the fact that they were in touch. By the sounds of it. One moment, I'm about to sneeze, so I will very quickly mute. 1 second. There we go. We are good. But yeah, they have just pretty much said that the Stormers, they were in touch, but they have the knock-on of Barnage. So because of that, it does mean that it will still be Stormers ball. It just doesn't count for Ben Jason Dixon. Looks like I've lost my bet again. What did you back in this one, DJ? Okay, they're just trying to find the replay on the big screen, but Evan Ruiz, I thought it was his feet that were in touch. Yeah, there it is there. The foot is on the line. La Rochelle weren't really saying that it wasn't, or it wasn't touched anyway. There was no kind of protest from them. Looks like La Rochelle has already thrown the game away. It looks like it's based on the team La Rochelle picked, says Sean O'Farrell. But now that one's going to be disallowed. So 10 points to 0 at the moment, the way that this one sits. How old is La Rochelle? As in like the rugby club in general, or like the guys who were out there on the field? Because it's definitely a more inexperienced side than we saw play last time they were in South Africa. These two sides have had some brilliant battles on South African soil. Both games separated by just the 1 point. Sasha is scary, says WLK. I thought La Rochelle by 15, 35, or 30-15. I would say it would be a lot closer if La Rochelle had their best team, but in this case, this is a very young developmental side that are going to learn a lot of lessons today. It's going to be a knock-on. Collapse scrum penalty, so they will go back for the original one in favour of the Stormers. Another piece of rugby magic that didn't happen, says Studs Race. Okay, this one's going to be against Reda Wardney, who is one of the more experienced heads out there on the field for La Rochelle. Oh, interesting. Luke Pearce has just said to Cobus Reinach, you don't need to do this at the scrum, referring to the fact that Cobus did not feed it in straight. He said try and put it down the middle, fix the score. Scores an online scoreboard, and it has now fixed itself, so it must have got scaredier. They're the guys, I mean, says Mahadine. So there are not a huge amount of this La Rochelle side in the starting lineup anyway that are over the age of probably 25, if not even 23. So, yeah, I want to say Reda Ordi is probably, I would say, the most experienced head out there. Maybe, how old is Suliasi Funivalu? He's been around for a little while. Used to be in the NRL. Paul de Villiers breaking off the back alongside Evan Ruiz. They will not stop him. That is physicality. So it wasn't one of the loose forwards who scored it, and Ben Jason Dixon. Instead, it is de Villiers. Bro, every scrum half does that, says LB. So obviously Luke Pearce has decided he's going to start to keep a bit of an eye on it, which, to be fair, they need to do something about. Because like you said, every scrum half does it, and it does give the side who are scrummaging or putting the ball in a very much so unfair advantage. Some of the hookers are no longer actually hookers in the scrum. They just sit there while the locks get that ball back. I thought of Ruiz, Reinach, and Sasha. Can't be fun for Kuyu. And his flank, says Ruby. Oh, hang on. Okay, Luke Pearce is speaking French, and I don't speak French, but they're going upstairs. TMO check again here for the Stormers. At the moment, it seems to be they can't quite break that third try without something happening in the build-up. Okay, I think they're going to call Evan Ruiz offside here, obstructing one of the La Rochelle players from being able to make the tackle. Rock Harris has changed the Stormers scrum since he became the scrum coach. Yeah, so unfortunately, Ruiz was in front, and so was JD Schickerling there. Now, if it is counted as the same maul, I think they might consider it as all right, but Ruiz may have just got in front in the wrong time there. I am shy all, says Wild Lobster. Okay, it's very slightly in front of him, so that's going to be no try for La Rochelle. And it's going to be no try and the penalty going the way of the away side. And power drive, says Ali Wood. La Rochelle had a quick rise out of the second tier, I believe, over the last 5 to 7 years. Apologies if I'm not right, says DJ. I mean, La Rochelle, like 2021, 22, 23 were just dream years for that side. And since then, they've lost a lot of those guys who were the fundamental of that team. And it does show. You know, even not having someone like a Tawera Kurbalo has gone now, I believe, to Stade Francais. That made a difference in that 9 and 10 combination. Losing Bryce Doolan at number 15 was huge for La Rochelle, and I do think that really did hurt them. Now going back across, go with Reinach rushing up, try and shut down La Rochelle. That was going to be a one-handed knockdown for Ruan. Now I think it's just going to be ruled as a knock-on rather than anything more. Okay, he was just saying there to Luke Pearce that it is fine that he's only given it as a knock-on as long as he doesn't upgrade it. Sasha's radar not working too well today, says Bruce. And where La Rochelle from? So they are, of course, I assume you're wanting a little bit more than France. I'll get you the exact name. La Rochelle location. Because they are from La Rochelle. It's the Atlantic coast of southwestern France. In the Nouvelle Aquitaine region? Maybe? I should just call the La Rochelle captain LA from now on, Hamish, says Ruby. And La Rochelle are West Coast Atlantic, says DJ. Now 22 metres out from their line, La Rochelle. Ready to feed this ball in. What are you doing, La Rochelle? To be fair, I think this young side, they haven't gone too bad in the early stages. Don't get me wrong, they've conceded 2 tries. But yeah, I'd say that they've really had the pressure put on them. And this is going to be a great tester for some of these young guys. The first time I heard of La Rochelle, says Mohuddin. There was a time where that would have been a straight yellow card. That is true. It seems to be down to the discretion of the ref. And Luke Pearce, to his credit, is normally pretty, I think, up there in terms of the better referees around. There's frustration at the moment for one of the Stormers coaches. I believe he was saying that shouldn't have been a scrum reset. It is a lovely town. A big World War II submarine base. So here's DJ. See, I still remember those games from 2 or 3 years ago. At home for La Rochelle and the big competitions, and the way that they just had so many supporters in the stands. We have got there, who's that guy on the stadium's public address system? He's so in love with his own voice. Says Umbai, I can't actually hear him. I assume that's the guy doing the trying to hype everyone up in between, right? Now, going back across to the right-hand side. About going for a skip pass. No, instead going to go short. Suliasi Vunivalu. He cuts back inwards. Big chance for La Rochelle. Moving into the Stormers half. This is far up the field as Bimba Kobus, Reinach of all players, gets in there and rips that ball away. It does force them back. Province says Rudy. Think Lions, Sharks and Bulls will win. I think that the Sharks have a good chance. They come in as favourites up against Saracens. I think that the Lions are going to struggle up against Newcastle. But, yeah, it'll be interesting. I feel like the Lions should have enough to get the win. But at the same time, they're away from home. And that does really hurt sides. My calculations, or my calculators are refusing to update. So I'm taking a break to watch some football. So here's Katzenell. And also, they were great, and Skelton was awesome. Annoying, yes, but he's, that's okay, says DJ. Yeah, they just, I don't know, something about the way that they were playing a few years ago, because they just came in as such big underdogs, and, they were just winning games that they weren't supposed to. There was a little while where Leinster just couldn't beat them, because La Rochelle found a way of digging deep each and every time. I think Suliasi Vunivalu may have actually, I think he's hurt his knee while running at Dylan Mart there. Northampton 30 to the Bulls 12. Says Sean O'Farrell. And we are going to be covering that game on the channel tomorrow. Alongside the Sharks versus Saracen match. We actually only got 3 games this weekend, which is a little bit of a difference than what we are used to. We'll only have 2 games next week and 2 the week after, I believe. But building into what's going to be a very hectic 2026. Right, that's a massive shame. Suliasi Vunivalu has just had the best attacking run for La Rochelle of the day. He's hurt himself and he's off the field now with that injury. So, first time La Rochelle get into the half for the Stormers, and it's caused one of their players to go down. Means that we get to see Lades make his way onto the field. Now, that is Dylan Lades. Yeah, doesn't look too good for Suliasi Vunivalu at the moment. I think Sasha's more popular than Habana. Both Stormers, both sold seats. Says on the right. You've been an intriguing one to see kind of the attendance numbers from back in the day compared to now. I feel like the crowds have been a little bit lower. Definitely this year anyway. What you doing for Christmas and New Year's? At this stage, Christmas, we're having lunch here, I believe. So that's nice and easy. And then New Year's, not 100% sure yet, but might be going away for a couple days. But probably not for New Year's, probably 1st, 2nd of January, rather than right on New Year's. Ball is there for La Rochelle after a penalty has been won in their favour. They are just inside of their own half. Whereas number 10, who was missing kicks in the Rugby World Cup, has gone from this URC side. So Mani Libok is in Japan at the moment. Another penalty going the way of La Rochelle for playing the arm against the Stormers. He missed 2 conversions. Were they hard ones? They were tricky enough. One from one touchline, one from the other. But I feel like for Sasha, he would have liked to get one of those over, and he was pretty frustrated. Who scored so far? We've seen Dylan Mart, and also the other try was scored by Lelion Zas. 2 disallowed tries for loose forwards for the Stormers. We have there. I want to watch the game. The game is available on EPCR TV. Although, depending on where you are in the world, it might be on Supersport, is the other option. I feel sorry for Andre Pollard. Yeah, he ended up with an injury of that calf, and then now I think he's being rested this week after only having 1 game back for the Bulls. Oh, Salman Murat going for the steal. It's going to be knocked on by La Rochelle. The Stormers will get themselves the scrum. Maybe if I get another beer, the Stormers will get try awarded. Let me try my theory, says Ruby. And beaches in South Africa are very crowded on New Year's Day, says Ulrich. And also, has he played this year? So many fly halves. How many fly halves do South Africans have? So Mani, I think the first round of the Japanese top league just happened. Or at least some of the games did happen, I saw. Have a quick look. What have we had so far? We've had about 8 or so games already. So I assume Mani would have played in one of those matches. Yeah, he did. He actually played in the first one. His team lost. Oh no, his team won 40 points to 14. And Mani Libok got 1 conversion, 2 conversions, 3 conversions, 4. He kicked 4 from 4 in that game. So he's actually doing very well. And what team did Mani play for? So he plays for the Kintitsu Liners, is the team names. However, every year a whole bunch of children are left behind at the beach. Says I Lollipop. Yeah, you probably should remember if you took a kid to the beach that you had a kid when you leave. That's like having a cell phone or anything, isn't it? You're supposed to keep your eye on things. But now sitting 7 meters out from the line, La Rochelle, this is their best attacking chance of the whole day. They're actually in a very good position on the park, but if they don't score now, you just get that feeling that they may not. There was a bit of a mistake coming from Dani Vuthu, who decided he wanted to go for a kick in behind rather than running it, and it did almost get turned over by the Stormers. Good strength being shown, though, on the breakdown from La Rochelle, not to give up the ball too easily. Even Russ trying to get in there, can't quite do it. Big collision. Middle of the park again. As the ref trying to walk them over the line, says Stephen, I assume that's because they gave away a couple penalties in a row, the Stormers, wasn't it? Now Rida Wardi, collision with Evan Russ. It's a good, solid defensive line at the moment from the Stormers. Little kick attempted in behind, and the mark is called. That's once again a bad choice from La Rochelle. They seemed like they were starting to build some nice phases to then panic and kick that ball away for the sake of it. Now, yes, if it had bounced nicely, it could have been handy enough. Being on the beach isn't fun anymore. Says Katzenel. We have got their future back, Bok back trio. As De Villiers, Lowe, and Heineken. It's going to be kicked downfield by Sasha. Doesn't find the touchline. And now a chance for La Rochelle to run this one back forward. Kicking it up high from the halfway line. Almost a foot trip. Oh, and a drop ball from Evan Russ that they've rolled as backwards. But La Rochelle in the breakdown looking for the steal, and they win themselves the penalty here. Show a little bit of fight now. The away side, 23 minutes into this contest. They are still down by the 10 points. And now they have the next decision to make. They go for the post or do they go for the corner? The answer is the corner here. It's going to be Yurt. And Ruby Tuesday. He's been following 2 sets. Says Lemberger. And also, I'm with you on that one, says Philip a little bit earlier on. And in the 2025 season, Sasha played about 43% for the box, demanding around 32%, then Andre around 11% or so. And now La Rochelle, 10 metres out from the line. Those 2 disallowed tries are really taking a little bit of wind out of the Stormers' sail, but that doesn't mean that they can't get it back here. But of course, the last thing that they would want is to end up conceding right now. Now the maul, going to be breaking off the back. The La Rochelle skipper. Off to the right-hand side. Find the hands of Delaney. Now flat ball. Stormers don't look like they're budging at the moment in terms of that defensive line. Just looking very strong in general. Looking for the steal and the breakdown. Stormers can't quite get it. Looping around. It's the big knock on now. And again, the Stormers, they will be able to clear their lines. Cobus kicks it into the La Rochelle players. That will now be the scrum feed for the Stormers inside of their 22. But that's probably best case scenario, I would say. Just because then they're going to have the opportunity to go for that scrum, win the penalty and work their way out. I'd love to see a game where Will Skelton stands at the back, catches a high ball and runs full speed at the defence. Says, how's it? That would be very impressive. Gets a bit of touch rugby on the beach, is always lekker. Says Ulrich there. And now, looks like we are having a drinks break for this contest. It's about 24 degrees is what we had, or somewhere around there in terms of the heat. It looks like Untertuku Machunu is also down with a bit of an injury here, so that will bring a drinks break anyway, but about 37 kilometres a win, so that is another factor that I think that Sasha does need a little bit of leeway for, is the fact that it doesn't seem like the easiest day for kicking with that breeze. I'm alright. Our team's sending rotated sides. They need to put in performances to show the people saying they are disrespecting the competition, says Sean O'Farrell. Yeah, it's unfortunate that, no matter what, there are going to be sides sending rough teams overseas. With Porthan, or whatever his name is, says Bruce. He doesn't actually feature in this game for the Stormers. I don't know whether or not that's down to just leaving him out for these matches, but he's a young guy with plenty more time. Who say Ulrich in South Africa Ulrich says Ruby. I will remember that, although I don't think that's quite how you say it. Your pronunciation of Leka is perfect. Says Philip, and that is a massive penalty won by La Rochelle here. Looks like an injury at the front for Rita Wardy, but the scrum against the Stormers not driving straight, that was Untertuku Machunu. Ulrich says Roof there. Who's your number 8 goat? Honestly, I struggle to pick goats. Mainly because of the fact that, in each position, you got so many great options from throughout the years. I don't know who I'll go with as number 8 goat. Because Savia is technically a 7, isn't he? And a lot of Kiwis would say that he's done pretty well, but then him and Kieran Reid. You say that Kieran Reid, he had a great career for the ABs. Some of the South African guys. Oh, this is a good rolling maul here for La Rochelle. We'll come back to that in a short moment, but they're over the line, La Rochelle, for the first time in this contest, and that is going to be a massive boost for this young team. This commentary, just so lekker, says Ulrich there. That's a massive try for La Rochelle, and the ill discipline of the Stormers I don't think helped it out too much with the fact that they give away probably about 4 or 5 penalties in the last 10 minutes, but they still had to get over the line, La Rochelle, and a well-worked rolling maul try. Hooker scoring it. How is the scrum, or how is the score 10-5 after such dominance by the Stormers? It's a worry, says Ali Wood. Yeah, and you'd assume that they'll find their rhythm again, the Stormers. The thing is, little errors. That's all that it's been, because theoretically they could be on 4 tries right now, the Stormers, but they've had 2 disallowed because of mistakes. And now, although to be fair, I would actually call the first one a mistake by the officials rather than the Stormers, just because they were out by quite a bit. As La Rochelle, a very strong team, they're normally not too bad when they've got their best team available. That conversion's gone over as well, 10 points to 7. In this case, they were expected to lose by about 30 points. So for them to only be down by 3 points after 27 minutes, that's sitting pretty decent. Jerome Kano, Savia, and Vermeulen. It would have been a nice back row. That would have been an insane back row. Now, that's gone up. Drop ball from La Rochelle. Ball is back in the hands of the Stormers. Evan Rus Untertuku Machunu. The ball's going to be loose. They'll go back now for the knock on. And Vermeulen says Roof there. Okay. So Kobus Reinach was asking for a deliberate knockdown penalty in that case, although there was one earlier on against Ruan Nell that was ruled as just a knock on. And similar-ish fashion, 5 handling errors for La Rochelle in the early stages of this game, 3 for the Stormers. But yeah, currently a lot more of a competitive game than it looked after the first about 3 minutes, where we had already seen Dylan Mart manage to score the try. Not too long after that, we saw the next try of the match for Leleon Zas. And now the way that it sits, who knows? I think that the Stormers have still got another one in them before half-time, though. I don't think that's going to change. It's like another drink, is it? Or no, medic running onto the field just for Rida Wardi. It's like he was struggling just a little bit. You're Welsh, don't feel too bad about it. Nobody is perfect, says Bruce. And we have got their high roof. Says Ruby in there as well. Are you on the Munster match? I don't think so. Who are Munster even playing this week? I actually have no idea. In fact, oh no, I have heard they're playing next game. Who do Munster have this weekend? I can't even remember. Now we have there, I know, an Aquamarine. Where's Eleanor, or where Eleanor comes from. Says Robert. Our ball's going to be fed in by Reinhardt. Scrum. Holding strong. It's taken a while to get this one out. Eventually, the push starts coming in from the Stormers. I think they actually missed the hook there for Andre Hugo Fenta. And that may have been because of where the ball was put in by Reinhardt. He did get a warning from the referee early on for it being wonky. I think he might have got that one too good. That's a massive shot there from the La Rochelle defence. And now a little bit of push and shove afterwards as well. Everyone told to calm down. Kane Douglas having a bit of a conversation. Salman Murat is saying that he's wounded. Munster versus Gloucester. Says Haino there. Yeah, I think that Salman Murat has had all of the wind knocked out of him there. Okay, they're saying that they're going to check it. And 29 minutes, not bad for a close score. Says the underdog pick. And yeah, to be fair, with the exception of seeing the lineups, right? Like, these two sides, these are the two matches that they've played in the Champions Cup history. One was the last 16 match. That was the most recent. La Rochelle winning that one 22 points to 21. Game prior, 21 points to 20. So if there was ever a chance that we could actually somehow have a close game, I don't think people would have anticipated it to be this one. Once again, based off the... They're just saying there that Kane Douglas's tackle was legal. It was on the chest. And to be fair, he did expect Salman Murat to catch that one. Supersport can go screw themselves. Why not show us the full replay? No other nation's broadcasts are so bad. So they don't show you a full replay and only highlights WLK? That seems very rough that they wouldn't have some option of watching a full game after. Thank you for this commentary. Helping for those who can't watch, says Lucas. No worries at all. We've got plenty more coming up. We've got the Sharks versus Saracens just around the corner. Late tackle, says Haino. I think it only looks late because of the fact that Murat dropped the ball. If Murat had hung on to it, then it would have been actually very good timing. But it's just the fact that he knocked it on beforehand. All internationals are free to air in the UK next year. I might have to try and see if I can find a VPN to give me a UK location then. Because here in New Zealand, like last year, it was all through Sky. This year, I think I had to pay about 115 New Zealand dollars just to watch the Champions Cup, on top of all the other rugby subscriptions. They're going to show the replay here again. Yeah, like Douglas can't pull out of that. That was a millisecond in terms of when that had to come in. And we have there. We'll have to let the Germans figure out the pronunciation of Ulrich. But Hamish is doing a great job. Is it nearly half time? It is nearly half time. 29 minutes in at the moment. All internationals. Oh no, I read that one. That one I didn't have time to mute. That one came out of nowhere. And Murat, he's playing like that. Says, get rid of neocons. And IDJ, fair enough. I think Munster will win by a lot. Right, Sasha lining up this kick at the post now. This will make it a 6-point difference. This one straight out in front of the post. He's currently 0 from 2, so this will be a nice little confidence booster. And a straight down the middle for Sasha Feinberg Zulu. So that will make the score now after 30 minutes, 13 points to 7. Did you watch the Leinster game last night? I did see that they made a comeback, but I didn't watch it because I was away coaching junior cricket during the time that game was taking place. Esports C showed plenty of games with Welsh interest. Says DJ there. One moment, I'm about to sneeze again, so this time I will mute so you guys don't have to listen to me. 1 second. We are good, hopefully. And we'll go like that. There we go. And Sods fell asleep, 2:35 a.m. As a penalty kick due to Kane Douglas try. Says Studs Race. I think it was due to... Oh, that's going to be a good tackle made by La Rochelle, but I think it was due to something different. I don't think they ended up giving a penalty for that shot in the end. Do yourself a favour, watch the first half. It was great. What about the second half? What was wrong with the second half? Are you still sick, Hamish? I think so. Unfortunately, I think that my biggest problem at the moment is, like, every time I go to practice for the junior cricket, someone else is sick. So I think I keep on getting sick again every single time. But that's all right. That's the time of year. What are the records for the French clubs against URC clubs, says Katzenel? I have no idea. To be honest, love the feed. Greetings from Spain. The pub and they show on football. I love the work you do. Enthusiasm top class. Your egg chase is superb, says Get Rid. So yeah, greatly appreciated. And yeah, we are here for that for the Sharks versus Saracens game. Just around the corner. I didn't even know Let's play last night, says Bruce. Now, ready to feed this ball in. And that's a big scrum from the Stormers again, but that ball does come out. Now going to be kicked down the middle of the field. I see taken by Wadakalam. We haven't seen a huge amount of him. At the back, second half, a bit more slow and stop-start, but still good. Says Haino there. Oh, stolen ball for La Rochelle, who look for the offload. They've got 3 men on the outside, but can't quite get the link up. This isn't how this match was supposed to go. Oh, he was through a gap, but he's gone for a cross kick. It's gone up into the hands of the dangerous number 11 with a quick step there for Bosmaron. I'm about to sneeze again, but hopefully we wait until there is a try-big shot there on the skipper. Now back across to the right-hand side. Kane Douglas goes in behind. Backline movement here for La Rochelle. Cutting up the middle was Dani Vuthu. Now down Evan Ruiz looking for the counter ruck, and it's a penalty for leaving feet. Going past the ball. When is the next 7 series? It's going to be late January that it does take place. 1 second, I am going to sneeze, so I will quickly mute again. We are good. Got to love a little bit of late night hay fever or early morning hay fever, depending on how you look at it. Territory was all the way of the Stormers in the early stages of this game, but now it's really taken a little bit of a detour down La Rochelle's end. Starting to get a lot more attack going. A few La Rochelle supporters in the stands by the looks of it. Currently 7 minutes remaining in this half. A 10-14 score between the Cheetahs and those French. So bizarre to see the Cheetahs playing at home in Amsterdam in the cold. And how's it Hamish and how's it all scorers? So far we've seen Dylan Mart. And we have seen, it was Lelion Zas for the Stormers. And then the 1 try has been scored by Leplat in that number 2 jersey for La Rochelle. And while La Rochelle didn't take the 3 win right out in front, that is correct, yeah. This young side seemed to be playing with a little bit of a lack of fear up against the Stormers side. La Rochelle to lead at half-time, says Haino. What a mess, Alan undecided. And the whole Stormers side are losing their mojo. They need to get tighter and stop prancing around, says Ali Wood. They're just showing it here. Oh, almost a tip tackle from Kobus Reinach. Luckily did put him down nicely. Man, and the stands thoroughly enjoyed that one, though. Allergen works for me, and it's pretty affordable here in South Africa, says Ulrich. And also somebody should get a hat-trick for the Stormers second half. Oh, that one's overthrown. Reinach takes it, and now Ruan now has that ball available for the Stormers. So a chance at 3 was turned down. And waits the 3 probably, says our way, and it has worked out that way, yes, that they have blown their opportunity. Sasha kicks that one out, and I think that's out on the full. Yes, it is. So they will go back to where it was kicked from. This one's only 22 metres out from the Stormers line. So it gives another attacking chance here for La Rochelle before the end of the half. So if they can score now, you could argue that the 3 points hasn't been wasted. But if they don't score now, then, you know, they could have been down by only 3 at this point in time. But, of course, the second half could be completely different. But this first half, very much so different to what people were expecting. I think they went early there, the Stormers. Yes, they did. So another penalty advantage against the Stormers team. Now, Rita Wardi, moving forward, the score doesn't match the Stormers side on paper. It actually doesn't. You're 100% correct. The score even doesn't represent how the Stormers have played in this game. 2 disallowed tries early on. This is going to be a last warning here for the Stormers. Just for repeat infringements. And we got Edward has become a channel member. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. You now have access to those emojis on the channel, so be sure to use them. That number 1 looks like an old head, so that is Rita Wardi, I assume you're talking about. And yeah, he's an experienced head for La Rochelle, probably the most experienced across this whole lineup. He has played internationals for France. Just showing there the injury for Charles Kante Samba. He only recently finished playing under 20s. He's out there for La Rochelle and South Africa today. Cheetahs take a lead, 17 points to 14. Against, they're not playing La Rochelle, but they'll be playing someone in the Challenge Cup. And go for the corner or finish here. Says the underdog pick. And yeah, this is a big opportunity again to be able to boot this one right towards that corner post. Crowd still absolutely loving it though. Their side are in the lead. Not quite by that margin that was anticipated, but there is still time. We could see them come out firing in the second half, the Stormers, and get themselves 5 tries. They're ready to throw this one in though. This was where they were able to get something going. Oh, that was almost penalty against the Stormers again. Breaking off the back. He's going to be just 1 metre short ball to Villiers, ripping that ball away. That was nicely done by La Rochelle to let it go. And they could see that they were going to lose possession, as that was what stopped them from giving away the penalty. And now looking for a bit of a counter ruck of their own. Reinhardt calm and collected at the back of that ruck. Now trying to run this one sideways. Cobus Reinhardt only 10 metres out from their own line here, the Stormers. Stade France's, sorry. Says Albert, missed the 3, says the underdog pick, and Cheetahs are playing against Stade Francais, I believe, the team that wears pink. So that's actually the team that Twitter Kerbalo, I believe, is playing for this year, rather than La Rochelle. This game is frustrating out of me. Says Wimar, come on the Stormers. Says Sock, but that one is a good clearing kick from the Stormers, who at this stage are just surviving. Which is weird, because, 30 minutes ago, try after try. Looked like it was going to be on the card for the Stormers side. Reinhardt showing a few signs of fatigue here. And the coaches for the Stormers, they aren't looking happy at the moment. Definitely not as happy as they were early on in this match. I think it's easy to forget that the box and the Stormers are not always the same box under Rassi. Just as thought, says Ruby. So Rita Wardy has just given the line-out call. 36 minutes through in this contest. That one's going over the back. And that one's going to be claimed now by Salman Murat. Ball was loose there. There is a knock-on advantage against La Rochelle. And the ball is back there for the Stormers once more. An all-rounder at Cricket H. I would like to be, but I haven't actually gotten a chance to bowl all throughout this year. Which is, it's a bit unfortunate, but hopefully one day I get to bowl in an actual game. I've probably bowled the most balls out of anyone at practice, because I'm normally first one there. But I don't get to bowl, unfortunately. We have there was hoping for a good tight game. Wasn't expecting it after the team announcements. Says Studs race. And whose ball? So it is going to be the Stormers' ball now. They will go back for the scrum feed. Weren't you sick just many, many days ago? Where have your white cells and other antibodies gone? Says Cats now. I think they've just taken a holiday, to be fair. We have there Ruby that thought can be in trouble. So the underdog pick. And so you can swim around the ruck. This ref should grow a brain. Says WLK. And the net bowler says, please and tease. What do you bowl? Faster than Dibbly Dobblers. I love Chris Harris, class bowler. So I used to bowl spin. Quickly learnt that as a spin bowler on an artificial track, like, the thing is, at practice, if you bowl outside off stump to make it hard for them to hit, they just get annoyed and say, why aren't you bowling at the stumps? You bowl at the stumps, they just try and smack you for 6 leg side. So I got sick of bowling spin because I kept on getting told off for bowling dot balls outside off stump. So now I've gone to medium pace and they're going all right. Well, I don't want to jinx it though because I'll probably end up, blowing a calf muscle or something. Bowling is the best. Being an iffy batsman myself, I spin bowled. Says DJ, but that is going to be a free kick going the way of the Stormers. Feinberg Zulu does kick it into touch. I believe Rassi has rubbed off on all coaches, especially for South African rugby. Are you married, Hamish? I am not. No. I am not married. And to be married, of course, I would have to find a lady friend. I bowl so slow, you can't hit it. Can you bowl a flipper? I don't. Oh, I can bowl a bit of off spin and leg spin, but medium pace wise, I love bowling a good old leg cutter. Oh, free kick to La Rochelle again. Little chip in behind. That's once again a bit of a waste, or is it? It's popped up for him into the hands of La Rochelle, who are now sitting only about 15 metres out from the Stormers line. They are making metres for fun. Oh, good hands. Dylan Lades now. He wrestled down Paul Davilliers straight in the breakdown. That was so close to him winning the penalty. In fact, he has got it for the Stormers. I reckon if he threw the palms of beach ball, they would miss it, says Get Rid. And also, if I don't see you next week, hope you and the lads have a jolly Christmas, says Big Rick. Right back at you. Hopefully you do enjoy the Christmas break. And we have got there Sasha Feinberg has a cannon on it for a boot. He does. Massive kick downfield from Sasha there off the penalty won by the Stormers as they now sit about 35 out. And he's yelling at the touch judge there, Sasha. He's saying he should have given him more metres for that one. However, there doesn't have to be a lady friend. You can marry one of the lads, says Big Rig there. Did you also break a few windows when playing backyard cricket or street cricket? I wasn't too bad window broken wise. At one of my earliest birthday parties, I had a piñata, and one kid decided to put 4 lollipops in his mouth at once, and he got smacked in the cheek with a cricket ball, and all the lollipops fell out. That was the only year I was ever allowed a piñata. And that was through backyard cricket. Now, on attack at the moment for the Stormers, they have got themselves the penalty advantage here as the halftime siren now just sounds. Now Sasha changing direction here for the Stormers, looking for a gap, and he does go through Sasha Feinberg. Zulu 4 pass out wide, but they'll go back for the penalty advantage. We have there, did you see the palms? I didn't. What happened there for the cricket? Our games are on Christmas, says Cool Story. So the next game for the Stormers, in fact, we'll check it at halftime. They have still got one more play here. But the Stormers have got a derby coming up around that Christmas period, as well as just after. Right, this one's out in front of the post again. I think if you're the Stormers, you just go for 3 here. You take the 3, you take a lead of more than 6 points. And, was the kid George somehow? It was not. No, I didn't actually know George at that stage of my life. But yeah, he decided to just walk around with 4 lollipops in the mouth. Wasn't paying attention. Beautiful cover drive. It was actually my sister who hit the cover drive. Smacked the socks off it and then straight into the cheek. And he went, and all the lollipops fell out. But yeah, only time I've ever had a piñata, and I blame him for it. And Sasha Feinberg Zulu reminds me of Dan Carter when he breaks the line like that, says Ali Wood. But now, Sasha to line up this kick. This one will close out the half. Does get it over, so that is going to make the score after 40 minutes in this game, 16 points to 7. Which I think was a little bit closer than people were anticipating. Quarterfinal was very dangerous. Listening to a podcast on Brian Habana yesterday, the dude's an intelligent man. Says Naz Williams. Yeah, he's a great advocate for the Sevens as well. What he's been able to do in terms of the helping out for the Sevens. Deserved it, in my opinion. Yeah, you got to be ready at cover. Definitely because it was closer to a short cover. Backyard cricket, you got to have your eyes on the ball. Because you just never know when the catching opportunity will be there. But currently 9 points separating these two sides at halftime, 16 points to 7. Probably still much closer than people would have thought. Do you still have a podcast? No, not really. Me and Tim, we did have one for about 40-something episodes, I think, but then he got very busy with his uni work. So he hasn't just given up like the podcast. He's given up YouTube in general for now. Unfortunately, but hopefully he will be back one day. I don't think Andre Pollard will never play in the Springboks. You don't? So you're saying that you think he will? Are you streaming for Glasgow versus Toulouse? I'm not, but that is a game I'm going to be hopefully keeping a close eye on while doing a bit of multitasking halftime. What's the news in New Zealand? We had some hail the other day. That's about all that I know that's happened here. What else have we got? Oh, New Zealand won in the cricket up against the West Indies. Another test match that only went a couple days, or I think it made it to day 3 in the end. So they lead the series 1-0. KFC Big Bash coming back tomorrow for the cricket side of things, or today here in New Zealand. This is why I'm not a news reporter. I don't know what else is happening. Frank Muir got uppercutted by Mark Hunt on Hunt's good day. Says Sock there. I don't think Andre Pollard will ever play for the Springboks. He will, though. He's got plenty of time left. Weird rain today, says Bruce. We have got there, Sasha isn't as good of a kicker as Pollard, says Hanoi. Yeah, he's currently sitting 2 from 4. For Sasha, he has got the 2 that were straight out in front of the post, but he did miss his other 2 that were on the sidelines. Now, I thought it might have been the win, but at the same time, we did see La Rochelle's kicker do decently off of the tee. It's how unusual over in New Zealand. Not really. 1 second, I'm about to sneeze. We've had it quite a bit recently, though, for the hail side of things. All right, we are good. Can Skelton fit in a car? I think so. You'd have to have, like, maybe not like a Lamborghini or anything, because it's probably a bit more of a tight squeeze. But, no, it'd fit in certain vehicles, I'm sure. Hachu jokes, says Daz Williams. And for home game New Zealand Test next year, for AB's thoughts, I'm looking forward to that one up against the Irish at Eden Park. I feel like that's probably their biggest, and also seeing what the Christchurch Stadium is like for an All Blacks Test. Are you doing games on Christmas Day? I think it's Christmas Eve for us here in New Zealand that the games are taking place. 1 second. I have a quick look while we are at it. Go like this. Go like this. I think they play just prior. Or at least I'm hoping they do, or else that's going to be an awkward one. So the URC... Yeah, no, it's fine there. I don't think there's many games around Christmas. It's actually a couple days after or a couple days before. I sent an email to an account you sent me, however, I have not had a reply. Says Philip, that was the Kiwi Lads one, wasn't it? 1 second, I will have a look. I'm signed in as my other email account on my phone, which I forgot about. 1 second. Oh, yeah, there it is. Right, I'll check it after the live stream, Philip. Apologies for the delay. We have that Italy is getting a hiding at the cake tin. Says the AI underdog, or are they? That's the one place that I think Italy would want to play New Zealand with their record there. Maybe Sasha is just a better version of Lebock, but below Pollard, says Hanoi. Do you think the New Zealand players are disadvantaged with rugby being played all year by most Northern Hemisphere countries in South Africa? I mean, it's an advantage and a disadvantage, I would say. I was about to say, the reason I'd say that it's an advantage is not as many injuries, but Super Rugby, those injury lists were just as long, weren't they? So, I think it's a tricky one. At the same time, I feel like the New Zealand players probably don't mind it. If you want to play a longer season, you can always go to an overseas option, but you just can't play for the All Blacks, which is the unfortunate part around the rule. We've got wonder if the French would bring full strength team. Says Hanoi. Yeah, I don't think they will, to be honest, for that one next year. Definitely because it's just a one-off match. But it depends on how much value they put on the Nations Championship, rather than, those autumn internationals last year for them, or the July internationals for us. Like, those were games that for France didn't change anything. Like, they still got a pretty decent World Cup draw, so it didn't affect them in that regard. Yeah, they got a chance to try out some younger players. Like, so the Gilliard, he actually was one of the standouts of what he was able to do. I take more games over less, despite injury risk. If your entire team depends on one player, then your team sucks. Says Big Rig. And more games equals less rust. Says Big Rig. And also, when the Springboks play in New Zealand, they're going to be playing next year, mid-next year. We will be covering that whole series on the channel. I don't do Christmas, says Bruce. And are the Crusaders and Chiefs up to much this winter, says On the Right. As in winter New Zealand or winter overseas? I know that they do play each other in Super Rugby. In fact, Super Rugby is not actually a mile away from starting, which is a little bit crazy. It's only 61 days away, 2 months. We have got there. Hamish, you look like you don't need neurobion injections. I have no idea what they are, so I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Love you, Hamish, says Sush, bro. And there as well. It is greatly appreciated you being here. We have got another game just around the corner. Sharks versus Saracens. So be sure to stick around for that. Being in the sun. You spotted it straight away. Yeah, I got burnt today, unfortunately. I did put sunscreen on, though, but it's the reapply that I suck at. And, yeah, I've got like a Luckily, you can't, well, you can tell. I got burnt from about there down. That looks bad. That actually makes it look like I'm a lot more red there. But yeah, a little bit of crispiness on the top half. And also, I've got like a strap around my ankle where my sock was. Just above that, there's like a nice ankle bracelet of sun. I don't think Andre will save us, says Sash there. Sharks going to get pumped? I don't know. I feel like they'd do all right in that game up against Saracens. Like, they're a stacked side. Upper Lily Fassi back at 15, I think, is a massive key for the Sharks as long as he avoids injury. Does it hurt? No, it's actually fine. That's the weird thing. When I get sunburn, you know how for some people they go in the shower and it's like excruciating pain? For some reason, when I get burnt, it doesn't happen. I think it's because I get burnt very easily and I'm a bit of a chameleon. I just change colour all the time. Heat stroke can mess you up in your 40s. Says, cool story. If you've got in your neck, you can claim to be a Texan redneck. Says Big Rig. My dad supports Saracens and South Africa. I wonder who he will support today. Says on the right. I mean, there are a lot of Springboks across that Shark side, that is for sure. Will you, Hamish, be president of South Africa? I don't think I'm qualified for the job. I don't even think I'm qualified to be like mayor of my local small town. And I'm also too indecisive. So that's probably the last thing you want for a president. Someone who can't decide what they're going to do. South Africa and New Zealand are favourites for the Rugby World Cup, but France is always a wild card in Southern Hemisphere games. Says Ruby. Yeah, there are a few sides that have a decent chance in that World Cup, and I do think that the draw has also opened up the draw a little bit more. We have there wearing my Sharks jersey. It's pretty bad weather today in Derbs. I never use sunscreen. All in cats from Bruce, so he's yelling it. My diet gives me a built-in protection. Get tanned, not burnt, says Bruce. And we may need hugs after the game, Sash, but still watching it. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum, says Yasmin. Welcome and hope you're doing well, Nov Mum. Currently 3 a.m. in New Zealand. Saracens weather today, says Sash in there. Is it raining for that Durban game, Sash? I don't need qualifications to be press here. Says please and D's, and Sharks have coaching issues. Their garage is full of Ferraris, and they pull off the Volkswagen every week, says Ali Wood. And also, who has the better chance, Ireland or France? I would say, well, depends on what Ireland do up against more than likely Argentina. If they can get past Argentina, then Ireland would be handy enough. But I do think that France, with their depth at the moment, you'd say probably them. But honestly, the way that the draw is, it could be anyone's. Had pristine beach weather the last 3 days today. We get the English weather, says Sash there. And also France, says Ruby. And there as well. But second half of this contest is not a mile away. Ireland is meh, says Ruby. But yeah, will be an intriguing second half. Currently the lead of 9 points for the Stormers. It did seem like they were guaranteed that bonus point early on for 4 or more tries. They have got themselves to 2 at the moment. Hopefully the Sharks win, says Haino. I think England are going to win the Six Nations, says Sash. And Argentina are the most inconsistent team in World Rugby. That is true. Which is why you can't guarantee they're going to do badly at that World Cup, but you also can't guarantee that they're going to do well. They're literally a wait-and-see type of model for Argentina. Stade Francais just scored. They beat in the Cheetahs 17 points to 21. And Stormers playing so bad, maybe they can tighten up in the second half. Yeah, they started the half extremely well. They have those 2 disallowed tries, and that seemed to suck the wind out the sails. And then from there, some really nice work from this young La Rochelle side to keep themselves in the game. The Sharks prove that rugby isn't played on paper. Need to get it right upstairs, says I Lollipop. And yeah, their side on paper is absolutely stacked. Same can be said about the Stormers side. You know, looking through at the starting lineup, you would argue that margin of 30 in their favour looked realistic. You know, but at this point in time, it's going to be tough to get through, I think. And 2027, I don't know. I don't see Aussie beating their brothers in 2026. And cheaters make me cry, hey, says Sash. And Italy is most inconsistent, says Saku. And also Ireland peaked already. Argentina is on the up. France is dangerous. The Kiwis can take it. We hope the Box will. So what's your thoughts on England, Ruby? I know that they are a side that you didn't mention in that mix. Because it seems to be most people are calling England contenders. but most people don't want to, if that makes sense. Like, it just seems to be that people don't like praising the English, but they're actually going all right at the moment, big winning streak. And yeah, those games next year are going to be very intriguing for them. It's Newcastle Red Bulls now. No more Falcons, news to me. Says Cape Tonian. And also, I don't want to complain. Do you have a virtual Dropbox for complaints? Just chuck them in the chat. We get plenty of them. We get the comments just saying, look, your face is too funny for me to watch. And it's like, okay, fair enough. We'll take it on board. Now I've changed the colour of it. I got sunburnt. So that's a bit more radiant. I'd say name for name. Stormers have more talent than the Sharks, says Sash. England most overrated side in the world. Almost lost to Argentina at home. Almost did, but didn't. We have got that England look dangerous. Says they are underdog pick. And because England is nothing burger, says Ruby. And I worry about South Africa and New Zealand in the quarterfinal. What do you think? Yeah, it's a shame that that's going to be the match that we get to see early. But at the same time, it does mean that outside of one of those two sides, there's going to be a massive chance for, a new crowning of a Rugby World Cup champion. And we have got there Hamish Beard is immaculate now. Or immaculate though, it needs work. It's getting there, but I still need to grow it for like a good 2 years or so. Hope England do it. I'll take the glory pressure off the Springboks. And then they play better, says Please and Tease. And Aussie beating England, I can see, says the AI underdog pick. Now, second half of this fixture must be very close to starting up. And next live stream's kicking off in 54 minutes. That'll be Saracens versus Sharks. We had France versus Springboks last World Cup. Those were also the two best sides. Says Saku there. Now, currently 16 points to 17. The way that it sits, it's a Tom Cruise beard. Says Ruby. And can't have All Blacks versus Springboks every final. Says Sash. And yeah, they've guaranteed that for the Nations Championship as well, seeing as it has to be a Northern and Southern Hemisphere side in the final. Or at least the top, or the new South 6, the North 6, although Japan do count as the South 6. Will there be any haircut bets during the World Cup? Probably not. The hair's only just growing back now compared to that buzz cut. That took place about 3 or 4 months ago. But no, the haircut's probably going to stay intact. I got to do some work, says Bruce. And I thought in the first half I had cashed. And he Stormers for 24.5 for my bet, says Saku. Yeah, it looked like the Stormers were just on an absolute rampage early on. And then, I don't know, something happened. That's a great kick from Sasha Feinberg and Ngume Zulu. They will take that one quickly. La Rochelle keep this one moving. Early on here, Sasha missing the ankle tap. Now moving up to the halfway line for the away side. And last time the World Cup was in Australia, England won it. That is true. Back in 2003, beating, was it the Johnny Wilkinson last-minute drop goal? It was, wasn't it? Now, nicely taken. Warakaland. Kicking that one downfield. Looking for a little bit of territory, although La Rochelle do have 3 men back ready to cover for it. Yude's going short side. This is a chance. Down the wing, Ruan now trying the ankle tap. Chipped in behind for La Rochelle, although there is some cover back there for the Stormers. Sasha has the option of placing that ball down, does just that, and it will now be the goal line dropout. But a good start to the second half for the underdogs. How likely is a comeback? I would say it shouldn't be likely, as the Stormers on paper were looking like they would win by a lot. But the way that they're playing, like they've started the second half in the right fashion, getting the Stormers deep into their own area. La Rochelle team sheet names doesn't read entirely French. More like a Southern Hemisphere Barbarians team. Says Robert. Now going off to the left-hand side. La Rochelle on attack again. Divinuthu going off to the right-hand side. Keeping that ball offloading as well. A little bit of isolation there. That's the last thing that La Rochelle want. Definitely with someone like a Paul de Villiers who has been stealing the ball in the breakdown for fun throughout this matchup. Same with someone like an Evan Russ. Has a lot of ability. No Lades for La Rochelle. He is off the bench, Dylan Lades, and he has already made his way onto the field due to the injury that we saw earlier on in the contest for Suliasi Vunivalu. Now, right-hand side. Chance to put it back into the pocket for Kuyu. That one going high and sideways. It's going to be a hard one in the sun, but Lilian Zas takes it very nicely. And Monty Age says, Kiwi Rob, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Currently 40 metres out from the line at the moment. The Stormers in possession. Reinach thought about the inside ball there for Jonathan Roach. Couldn't quite link up with Sasha. Now Reinach again moves it away to the left-hand side. We see Sasha looping around. It's a drop ball for the Stormers. It's gone backwards. In fact, there's a knock-on advantage against La Rochelle. Now get that steal on the breakdown and the go back for the penalty. As Cobus an 80-minute player, he can be. He normally doesn't have to for the box, of course, because you're looking at that kind of split of an impact player off the bench or starting and playing about 50 or so minutes, but he has done it before. Bowling leg cutters is no good. He's trying to find a French lady friend, or trying to find a lady friend, says Robert. And Cobus is a 120-minute player, says Sash there. Right, they're just showing the replay again now. Okay, it must have been the knock-on there on the ground. I was trying to look for the knock-on. It wasn't initially in the contact, but it was after that ball did drop. And twice for the Aussies to keep the score level before the game ended. And then Wilkinson's drop goal, says Big Rig. And how's it, Hamish, says Craig. Welcome in, mate. And on paper, who's the best club team in the world? Honestly, like Bordeaux at the moment are really stacked when you look through at their side. But then it depends because, you know, some would say on paper the Sharks look like one of the best sides in the world at club rugby, but then they never have been able to back it up. So it's very easy to say like the Sharks, but then you also have to look at, I get it's just on paper, but on paper based off what we see in club rugby as well, like Bordeaux or Toulouse have to be right up there. They've got a huge budget. They do have some incredible players. That one is going to be a penalty in favour of the Stormers. One's won by Untatuku Machunu in the front row. The Satyrs, not anymore. They've actually got a lot more gaps in their side now compared to where they were a couple of years ago. Chiefs also have a wild team. Says Sash. Leinster is on the right. Now Sasha ready to kick this one towards the sideline. Individual player skill only goes so far. Can't work as a team, says Big Rig. It's the chance for the Stormers to look towards try number 3 in this game. Now, they would still need 2 more tries to be able to secure that bonus point, which seemed like a certainty in the early stages. 7-1 versus Wales, you know you're in trouble. Says the underdog pick, and Machunu comes from a hometown. Nicely thrown in. Taken by Salman Murat. One's going to be dragged down by La Rochelle legally, says Luke Pearce. Around the side, Andre Hugo Fenta. And then, that was almost a turnover. Now, Jonathan Roach tackled there. There's going to be an advantage against La Rochelle, and the early penalty goes the way of the Stormers in the breakdown. Right, Cobus Reinach just getting told off. And this looks like it might be a last warning here for La Rochelle again. Broke my ankle on the 4th of December. So I had an op yesterday. I hope you are well, Hamish, says Kiwi Rob. Well, hopefully you're doing all right too, Kiwi Rob. How'd you break your ankle? Was it some sort of sport or was it just a freak accident that take place? Great commentary. This game is this game in what we call Port Elizabeth, Eastern Cape Province. Beautiful area, very poor, but awesome nature, very, very windy. Yeah, I did see that the wind's about 40 kilometres an hour at the moment. The crowd really getting into supporting the Stormers in this game, which is fantastic to hear. I think once this club World Cup happens in 28, we'll get an answer. Tripped over my own feet. Tripped over your own feet and you broke your ankle. I have so many questions. So, did you trip and then you landed awkwardly on that ankle, or was it the process of kicking yourself with your other foot that broke your ankle? I assume it's the first one, right? One's going to be dragged down. Just short. No, they get over this time. The Stormers. A little bit of afters from Evan Roos there, which really didn't need to happen, as that has now started a little bit of push and shove between the two sides. And mate says Sash there. Looks like Andre Hugo Fenta stayed down for a little bit longer. Yes, says Kiwi Rob. But Andre Hugo Fenta is over the line. 3rd try of the match now for the Stormers. The scoreline looking a lot more comfortable here. Currently 14 points separating them. Mate, you all right? Says Sash, is that to me or to Kiwi Rob? For the I assume it's to Kiwi Rob, right? 46 minutes in. That is 3 tries now. They just need the one more, and that secures the bonus point. How much better Stormers now do it again for the forwards, or with the forwards for the bonus point. says Hollywood. Yeah, actually first forward try for the Stormers in this game. Are you able to hear the trumpets? I can hear a little bit. Can you hear me opening that beer, says Ruby? And also, we have got there to the broken ankle, says Sash. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't take much to snap an ankle. I'm all right now that I'm fired. Wait, I'm all right now that I'm fired. What do you mean fired? Like from your job? Kiwi Rob? I feel like this has turned into a brawl. The Stormers would still... Oh, now that I'm fixed. Okay, I was going to say, that seems like a pretty rough thing to fire for, depending on what your job was. That's going to be kicked off. Oh, knock on big time by the Stormers. Off of the kickoff. Douglas has made his way off of the field. Did have that big shot on Salman Murat early on. Trying to get this one moving. Not making a huge amount of meters at the moment, though, La Rochelle. Just trying to throw this ball around, create an opportunity. He's actually done pretty decently throughout this game, although that's a big mistake. Going back for the penalty, though. Double blow the whistle. Right, they're saying bear with them for a second. I think they're going to TMO check something here. Referee said that he heard the hit but didn't see it. How do you get fired from working a corner, says Sock. Going to be tough for La Rochelle without Ronan O'Gara, says Sash. Yeah, although to this young team's credit, they've done all right in this game. Right, they're reviewing it. Oh, it's shoulder in the head. Unfortunately, now there is a mitigating factor, which is that the tackle was already being made. Did he miss the kick? He actually did there for Sasha. Right, they're looking for this collision on the replacement hooker for La Rochelle. Andre Hugo Fenta. It's probably going to be a yellow card. There's not a lot of dipping coming from the Stormers player. Are you going to see if you can get tickets to the first All Blacks game at Christchurch Stadium? Maybe. I haven't actually seen... Or actually, I will be up that way around that time. Still, of course, doing the live streams and whatnot, but maybe we'll have to see what we can do. Whether or not it is an option, I don't recognise many players on this La Rochelle team. Honestly, they're a really young developmental side that have been sent to South Africa and pretty much been told, go and see what you can do, but you're not expected to win this game. Right, they're looking for head contact here from Nedeling Fauchier. There is a bit of contact on the chin of the replacement hooker. So Tidze is the man who did take the head contact, the big Georgian, I believe he is. Which, it's not the hardest shot that we have seen, but it's probably still a yellow card by the law, unfortunately. And can take a GoPro and live stream from the stadium. I think that's illegal, Sash, but we might be able to do some sort of vlog perhaps for it. That's a red, says Haino. Right, they're saying there the case of the tackler falling, so that might be what makes it a yellow card. Nothing burger, but yellow fair enough, says Ali Wood in the Super Rugby Super Round. It'll be the first time the new stadium will be used. That is correct, yep. 14 players always works for South African teams, and yeah, they are going to be down to 14 now. Nedeling Fauchier being taken off the field, so that changes the scrum dynamic of this game just a little bit. Only time France comes to Eden Park is the World Cup, says the RA underdog pick. Right, I think Luke Pearce just had to tell one of the South African players, he said that's not the rule, or that's not how the rule works, unfortunately. So I'm not sure what the counter argument was, maybe from Salman Murat. Skelton probably injured today, says Hanoi. And also, that is a yellow at best. He is still alive, Muppet, says Sock. Yeah, it's one of those ones that most of the time we see it as a yellow. It won't be upgraded to a red, or at least it really shouldn't be, because there was the mitigation of another tackler making the tackle too. Right, the ball is there for the man who just had himself a knock to the head, although he's still out there on the field. No HIA required. Now La Rochelle just 2 minutes short of the Stormers line. Pick and go around the side of the breakdown. The thing is for La Rochelle, if they can somehow get out of this game with 4 tries as well, that is absolutely massive. My bio says it's a red card, says Haino. Let's hope that the referees don't agree. Oh, that's a huge shot. I think it was the replacement who tried to go around the breakdown and got absolutely crunched. That is close. He tried to jump over the breakdown there for the captain, Lucas Ejisa Ramachi. And static though, low degree of danger, penalty only, says Sash, and Halant as well, says Ruby. Right, on-field decision sounded like it's still a question. They don't have a decision here. Hey, what's up, family? Says Xander, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Right, they're saying he jumped over the breakdown, and it's just a case of whether or not he has got that ball down. How was cricket and how was your game? Says Kiwi Rob. So we actually had a bye today, unfortunately. Right, Luke Pierce has said it was a knock-on. It looks like it was just short of the line initially as well. Right, it's a no try because he dove over the breakdown. Is that legal to jump over the ruck? Normally no, and that is what Luke Pierce has said there. So it is going to be no try, but they have got themselves a penalty advantage already, so it will be penalty 5 metres out from the line for La Rochelle. And it's try lane call. Says Sash, and Dwayne Vermeulen is still in that team. We just can't see him, says Ruby. Do you have any predictions for 2026? Not at this stage. I feel like I love seeing squads first before I start making predictions because I'm terrible at predicting them otherwise. But now, going off to the right-hand side. This is close. Oh, that is very close to flattening out over the try line. They get their La Rochelle and they will get their second. Not Niddling, says Rudy. And there, and already they are reaping the rewards. Rida Wardy does end up scoring it. La Rochelle, they are back into this game. Come on, La Rochelle, says, hey, no, and I thought he picked at the base and then reached over, not dived. Says Sash. No defenders at the ruck seems legal. Says the underdog pick. You're doing very nicely there, Rida Wardy, keeping that body position low. I believe for him to score in this game was about, at halftime, I think I saw before, it was about $30 to score per dollar, which is a very high number, but he just wasn't given much of a chance. Ref says James, and over's a chance. Tricky to say. The Stormers were supposed to win this game by a large margin, but that hasn't happened yet. Doesn't mean that it won't, but definitely less than the 30 or so that was anticipated by the looks of it. Any bonus points awarded? Absolutely. 4 tries gets you a bonus point. Being within 7 gets a bonus point. So at the moment, La Rochelle have got a bonus point. La Rochelle don't go away. This is a championship side, says Sash. Now kicked off long, nicely taken there. It was Angissa Ramachi. His name's never going to roll off my tongue easily, I can tell you that right now. La Rochelle winning. This was 16-1. Yeah, they were given no chance. All well kept in the field of play by the Stormers. Going short side now for Dylan Mart with some fancy footwork. Although onto the ball, La Rochelle have managed to get themselves the steal. Lots of food places at one New Zealand stadium. Says Anovim. Yeah, see, I haven't looked up the food places, but if we do end up going there, we'll have to give it a bit of a review. Little flick out the back door. Dylan Lades. Plenty of pace. He's got men on the inside and the outside here for La Rochelle. Oh, couldn't quite get the offload. But this time now, Lades passes across to the left-hand side as Rida Wardy in open play. The man wants to do it all himself. Maybe he should have passed, though, as the big prop didn't quite have the same pace as some of his teammates. A collision again in the breakdown. Have the Stormers underestimated them? I don't know if they've underestimated them per se. I think it's just more so that La Rochelle have made the most of the Stormers' errors throughout this contest. You know, the Stormers' discipline in this game has been a little bit worse than we've seen throughout the rest of the season. Good attack and run forward, all trying to get in that breakdown from a long way back. That's a steal and a half from Watercalant. He saw that one like he was an eagle looking at some roadkill on the side of the road and getting it, and that's going to be a penalty now. Cobus Reinach taking the quick tap off to Sasha Feinberg. Zulu. Little flick pass off, and the Stormers, they will now score the counter-attack. It's Dylan March who gets the credit, but tell you what, that was a brilliant steal from Watercalant that led to that try. A 6-man overlap, classic prop, says Sasha. And yeah, that was the big mistake from La Rochelle on attack. Probably the worst mistake that they have made on attack so far. They're getting that turnover Penalty was awarded to the Stormers just quickly after that, and then a good run from Sasha, who gets himself his third assist of the day, and Dylan Mark, plenty of pace, manages to score it. We need Sasha to be good, in my opinion, and bias. The ruck was formed, says Haino, and then inside step to Lethal, says Sash. "10 seconds left on this clock." I was just wondering whether Sasha was going to be striking in time, but it does go over with 2 seconds remaining on the shot clock, making the score now 28 points to 14, and that is the bonus point for the Stormers. Can the Stormers kick a conversion today? They are sitting 3 from 6 at the moment, I believe they are at the moment. I think 3 from 6, something like that. Stormers on that juice now. I'm going to squeeze the orange out. Says Sock. Looks like Salman Murat has made his way off of the field. 26 minutes remaining. I'm so jelly. The weather is nice in Cape Town. Says Sash. You see there, Untatuku Machunu. He has also made his way off of the field. JJ Kutsia, he makes his way on for Andre Hugo Fenta. And then Sunday's on for Fouchier. I assume that is actually for Machunu. I don't know how they can make a sub for a guy who's got a yellow card. But I assume that they did it with someone else going off first, perhaps. Stormers top of the log after a win today. Dependent on what happens in one of the other games. 1 second, we'll quickly go like this. No, that is the table. So if Leinster win their game... Leinster... They did win their game. So it depends on points differential. I think Leinster's at the moment is sitting around that 25. So if the Stormers win this game by... Got to do some quick maths off the top of their head. I think it's 15. Well, actually, they need to win it by more than 15. Probably about 18 points. They would go top of the group. The Stormers side. Scoring with a yellow classic. Says Sash. And weather is perfect for a change. And who's the captain for the Stormers now? I'm not actually too sure. I assume it would be maybe Rainak or Ruas. Or Ruan now if he's still out there on the field. Which I think he is. So he might be a bit of a co-captain situation. And La Rochelle third team resist well. Yeah, they've actually done really well in this game. La Rochelle, does your stream pay more than a minimum wage? No. Definitely more so the hobby side of things for the streaming, which is also why I work a full-time job alongside the streams to be able to support the stream and also myself. That looks like Paul de Villiers. He will make his way off the field now. He's sitting in the naughty chair next to Nedeling Fouchier, but he has not been carded. Can Sasha be captain? Says Mahadini. He could be. But I don't know if they've selected him as captain now. We got the 1 from 6, ain't it? No, he's got two 3-pointers over, I believe. Because he got the penalty right at the end of the first half. So I think he's, I want to say either 2 from, or now 3 from 6 or 3 from 7. I think. Maybe. South African teams need more work on defence. Says LB. And like and subscribe to get Hamish to minimum wage, says Sash. And just get a sweet, or just need a sweet sponsor. Yeah, we haven't actually had a sponsor in 4 years on the channel. Fun fact. Pull your own bootstraps up, Hamish, real man. Says Sock there. And 1 from 5 and 1 penalty. Says Mr. Raff, because I know that he got the 2 out in front for the 3-pointers that gave... First of all, the lead of 6 for the Stormers, and then the lead of, it was 9. Oh, nice run from Reinhardt through a gap. He's got the option on the outside. Sasha, one more offload. Great hands, and another try for the Stormers. This time it's Warakalant who has managed to get it. Are you wearing shorts? I certainly am, yes. And Hamish, please say, how's it to my brother Mark? I listened online for the first time, says Craig. So it is greatly appreciated you popping in, Mark, alongside Craig, who is a very, very good regular on the channel. And you go the over, says Mr. Raff. But yeah, the tries are now just flowing thick and fast for the Stormers side. Another assist for Sasha. That's now 4 in this game, I believe. And bonus points secured by the Stormers, says Sash. And also, we have got their La Rochelle defence just stopped existing. Yeah, they've just disappeared. In this last little while, it's as you predicted, all hell's breaking loose in the second. Says Ali. 1 second, I am about to sneeze. So we'll very quickly mute. We are good. We take bookie sponsors. Says Cats and out. Probably not. I feel like that's where you get into that dodgy area of, like, you don't want to promote gambling. Even though, like, we mentioned, like, whatnot. You know, we mentioned, like, the odds and stuff like that. But I don't think I'd take a bookie one. Oh, we saw that, says Ruby. Yeah, I had to blow my nose as well. I was about to sneeze big time. We have there Warwick as the MVP. Says Cats now. I managed to avoid the sneeze, though, which was quite handy. Live Commentary. The kick go over. The kick did go over. So 35 points to 14 now, the way that it currently sits. Now I feel like I'm about to sneeze again. I look like a vampire sneezing someone's or chewing someone's neck. Says Dewey. But now, going up for the ball. Nicely taken again by Lelion's us. The Stormers have found their second gear, at least here. And you could argue that it's even about the fourth or fifth gear, the way that they sit. Now going right-hand side. Is that Sasha's fourth try assist, says Albert. Yep, I believe so. Or 4 that I've counted. He may have had 5. He had the assist to the other assist. That was him, but he's been involved in every single try that the Stormers have scored. Oh, kicked him behind. A little bit of a nothing one there from Sasha that time. Off the feet for Ruan now. Has to get out of that breakdown. We have there. He looked like he was chewing on D's. Says Sock. And the 11 just ran past the Stormers jumper, and Stormers are playing so well so far. Yeah, they've started finding their rhythm in the second half. It's as if that yellow card, once again, someone mentioned it earlier on, yellow card seems to motivate these South African sides. That's a clear in off the feet from Evan Ruiz. Oh, Evan Ruiz not happen. He is swearing about it as well there. And Sasha for captain says on the right, I don't think you want to put that weight on his shoulders. I think you just keep him as the attack and fly half option. You know, because you chuck your captaincy in there, then the bloke's got more to worry about than just playing his natural game. And La Rochelle don't know how to stop this now. The children need to problem solve, says Sash. And they like the Springboks. Who? The Stormers? I assume you're talking. Oh, Evan Ruiz, that was actually his last moment of the day. And they are going to bring Ackerman out there onto the park now. So probably, I would say not Ruiz's best game as a whole. He gave away a couple penalties. He had some good moments, but I think he got outplayed by Paul de Villiers in that number 6 jersey. Now Similani has made his way onto the field for the final quarter of this contest. La Rochelle, the minimum that they would want here is 2 more tries. Get a bonus point from this contest, and they'd actually consider that as a little bit of a decent showing. And won't play for the Bok again. Too volatile, says Sash. Now, nicely taken. Oh, ball pops out the side, though. Jumped on by JJ Kutsia. Oh, okay. Reinach's taken a knock on the nose there. And the way that he went down, he probably needs an HIR, unless, of course, he was trying to get the penalty. They do want to clear it, though. The comments here remind me why I watch rugby on my own. Don't do stand-up comedy anymore. Every drunk twat wants their joke of the day broadcast, says Robert. Right, they've called it as no foul play against Reinach, and as soon as he heard that, straight back up to his feet. Yeah, it's actually his teammate who boots him in the face for Cobus Reinach there. Johnny Wilkinson was never captain, maybe you are right, says on the right. The Cheetahs are struggling, but playing beautiful attacking rugby and defending with heart, says Albert. Looks like Reinach still touching his nose here, trying to get those eyes to stop watering. I'm not actually too sure whose boot that was, because quite a few of the forwards all have their same boots on. All right, scrum feed. Oh, it was a little bit premature from La Rochelle. One of their players actually walked into the scrum front row of the Stormers. If La Rochelle just play field position and keep the ball in hand, they will lose by 50, says Sock. And also more Cheetah strong again, or make Cheetah strong again, says Sash. Although, to be fair to them, they aren't doing too badly in their game at the moment. Or they weren't. I didn't realise that had happened. Second half's happened and they've just come out firing. Similar to what we're seeing from the Stormers. Sash, man of the match. Yeah, he'll probably get the award for this one, I would say. Definitely with all those assists. Now, Cobus Reinach trying to run this one forward. It seems like the Stormers are trying to up the tempo just that little bit more now. Reinach. Now going crossfield. Rochelle, it's going to go into touch off Lelion Zas's hand. Rochelle have the option of either taking this one quickly, line out, or going for the scrum, and it looks like the line out is the call. Chance again. 2 tries is what they need. Kick percentage by Sasha, about 40. Oh no, it might be a little bit higher. I think he's about 50% at the moment of the kicking tee. I'll throw on this one over the top. Nicely taken by Kobus Reinach. Now waiting for this position again. Stormers. Oh, that's a knock on. La Rochelle now will have themselves the scrum. It's a bit of a mistake there coming from Ackerman, I believe it would have been. That number 20 jersey. I will also mention the Stormers are back to the 15 men on the field, but during the time that they didn't have 15, they actually scored multiple tries. Imagine if the Stormers lose from here. Says Big Rig Joe. I don't think they'll lose from here, but I do still think they can concede 1 more try. Maybe 2. Oh, that's a bit brutal. They're just showing Marcel Tennyson, but it's Ruan Ackerman who dropped that ball. So Tennyson's now being handed a handling error, even though I don't think he's actually made his way onto the field next. Or yet. Don't feed the trolls, says Sash. Now we're going to see Kobus Reinach make his way off of the field for the Stormers. Oh, if they do that, will be embarrassing, says they are underdog pick, but it is going to be now Ahmad Khan. Makes his way on. Big push from the Stormers, but the ball has come out the back for La Rochelle. Big fend from the La Rochelle captain on the ref. How many points has Sasha scored? Says Sean. At the moment, it must be 12, I think, in this game. All from kicks. He hasn't scored any tries as of yet. He's been involved in a lot of tries, though. But just not scoring them himself. He hasn't got himself on the score sheet yet. Still time, though. Little kick attempted in behind. Lilian Zas waiting for the bounce of the ball. Awkward bouncing one. There's no touch, so Watacalant now goes back to Sasha. Looking for a chip in behind. Dylan Lades looks like he will be back to be able to cover it, although awkward bouncing ball, well handled at the back. It looks like La Rochelle going for a 50-22 attempt, and it's going to be close. Goes out just outside. Stormers taking that one quickly with Watacalant. He's got the offload. Oh, that's a risky one there. Nicely taken by Lelion Sass. Another risky pass. Watacalant. He turned that from a really risky play into an attacking scenario here for the Stormers. Sasha, that's a terrible offload. Goes along the ground. Picked up now, though, by Khan. Looking for the cross kick. Grab it in behind. La Rochelle there. That's way off the side of the boot for La Rochelle. Doesn't find touch. And the Stormers now with the possession. 40 metres out. Similani tackled. Knock on in the breakdown from Dylan Mart. Right, that just seemed like the Stormers were throwing it round for the sake of it there. It seemed like they had decided that they've already got the bonus point and that was just trying to create some sort of magical highlight try. In the end, it probably forced about 5 errors. And garbage kick says Sasha in there. It's Harrison's versus Sharks. Will be an interesting matchup. Looking forward to the game. Yeah, I think that game will be the best South Africa versus outside team match of the weekend. Or at least that's what I hope anyway. It should be the closest. Are you doing the Sharks game? We certainly are. Starting that live stream in only 20 minutes time. So we have about a 4-minute break after this live stream before going straight in to the next one. A knock on. Says Sash there too. Are we have there? Do you think there is a universe where Italy and Georgia top their group and the Bok don't make it through the group stage in 2027? No. No, like, the chance of that happening is just, you'd say 0.1%. It's good to be a Stormers supporter. Says, how's it, my brew? Yeah, currently they are doing very well, and it is showing in the numbers and the stands. I know that it seems to be heavily form-based in terms of attendance. They've probably got about maybe 30% in the stands for this contest, whereas early on in the season, and they were probably looking at about 10 to 15%, so it's going up in terms of numbers. If possible, can we have a card on screen, if any, So we know the players on the park says Walter. So at the moment, 15 on 15. But we will keep you informed about those yellow cards in terms of who's going on, who's going off. But Nettling Fauchier, he served his time. So now back to the full contingency. And the Stormers actually scoring more points during that time than La Rochelle did. So once again, another South African side who know how to play one man down. Stormers rock, says Philip. The Boks don't make it through. The country will collapse. Says Sash, that's going to be a penalty going the way of La Rochelle at scrum time. Okay, Sandy has been told there you're deliberately trying to milk a penalty. It's amazing you never have a toilet break during the stream. Stop work. Says Waste there. I think I've had one throughout the whole existence of the channel. That was, I want to say, for New Zealand versus France, or it was quite a big game. But I can't remember which match it was. But yeah, had the one toilet break. My dad came in for the commentary for about a minute or two, and then I popped back in. Time to send it, bomb squad, roll them over. Get paid as high as possible on the to top the log. Sorry, get points differential. Last three La Rochelle lineouts have failed, says Sash Brew. Although it is going to be a scrum fee for La Rochelle here. 14 minutes remaining on the clock. Still La Rochelle, if they want to get anything from this game, they do need 2 tries. Old man came in. Says our underdog pick, they are just showing Ruan Ackerman. Now they've worked out who it was that did knock that ball on earlier. Stormers winning with an ugly, what an ugly sight. Says, I mean, it's becoming a very familiar sight. That side have won every game in the URC that they've taken part in so far this year. Every game of the Champions Cup too, with a win here. When does Super Rugby restart in Australia and New Zealand? 61 days' time as when that opening contest will be taking place. So not actually a mile away. 6 Nations also coming around the corner very quickly. That's taking place in 54 days' time, so actually the week prior. And the first opening contest is Highlanders versus Crusaders down in Dunedin for Super Rugby. Now a little chip attempted in behind for La Rochelle. Oh, deciding to shin that one, Similani. That's going to be knocked on by Dylan Mart. It's a loose ball. La Rochelle picking that ball up just 1 metre short of the try line. He's over. I think that's a try. Yes, it is. Mistake made by the Stormers. A brilliant try for La Rochelle, and now they need one more to get that bonus point that I mentioned. What happened to the comments point system? Only been away working for a few months, so I got rid of it. Pretty much they gave us the option on the settings of YouTube to go, do you want to have like a leaderboard thing? And the general feedback was people didn't like it, so I've turned it off on the channel. Best try ever. I wouldn't say best try ever. There were a lot of mistakes from the Stormers. That one has gone over, which does still give La Rochelle, if they score once more and convert, they would get 2 bonus points from this contest. And how would you suggest Stormers get more points from here? Backline running and forwards drilling. I think they just had to, that last play when they were on attack, they were just trying to do too much. They were going for cross kicks, little chips in behind, and all that stuff, but just playing the game that they've played up till this stage will get them more points. 44 days until my birthday, I'm going to be so old. There's Jasmine. And okay, then said, I was the best typist, says Sock. Now, 12 points. Currently 14 points difference with 12 minutes remaining on the clock. Sasha kicking this one off again, going deep into La Rochelle territory. Dylan Lades. He will not find touch with this one. The only penetration for La Rochelle is coming from the outside. Crazy. Says Sash. Speaking of Sasha, 40 metres out from the line now for the Stormers. If you're La Rochelle here, of course you don't want to concede, but if you do, as long as it opens up another opportunity to score a try, you absolutely go for it. Dylan Mart down the wing. Great tackle made by Dylan Lades. That ball, I believe, is in touch off of La Rochelle. And Stormers are going for the razzle-dazzle, but letting points slip against them now. Whose name is harder to pronounce. Stormers 10 or La Rochelle's 8. 100% La Rochelle's 8. Not first name, though. It's Lucas. That last name is an absolutely brutal one. Was that Marte? Kid is fast. Yeah, he's shown some real talent throughout this game, Dylan Mart. He had 3 clean breaks, 2 tries. He's got to be up there for a man of the match contender as well if they're not going to give it to Sasha, because they have given it to Sasha a lot throughout recent times. And we have got their France, Ireland, England, all strong. Scotland have something to prove. Shame about Wales and Italians. But still going to be lit in battle with the Dylans. Says Sash there. Hamish, are you a biker? I am not a biker. Not at all. And congratulations on your 12th birthday, Jess. Says Sock. Right, it's actually going to be out already. Dylan Mart's foot was on the touchline, so La Rochelle do get themselves the line out 25 metres out from their own line. 10 minutes now remaining on the clock here. Oh, they've tried to take it quickly. Luke Pearce says, no, you don't. Go back and do it again. Okay, 4-person line out is the call. Oh, ready to throw this ball in. Nicely taken at the front. Big slinging pass to the right-hand side. A little bit of shuffling there from the La Rochelle skipper. Now a little grubber or a little chip attempted in behind. And again, another mistake from La Rochelle. Here comes Sasha, smashing tackle on him by the replacement hooker. He was off his feet though. Looks like La Rochelle about 3 players just dropping. Now, quick tap taken. Now Carnell, big tackle on Ruan now. No foul play called by Luke Pearce. And that one, Khan, short ball to JJ Kutsia. Up to 10 metres out from the try line. This is looking good for the Stormers. Another offload. It's gone back to Marcel Tennyson. And he will get the try. I'm going to be 33 in January, says Sush. I really like Luke Pearce. He's a good ref in the world. Where refs get no credit for good work, says Big Rig. Celebrations in the stands as the Stormers bring up 40 in this contest. Don't think there's quite time for them to get to the 50, although saying that's still 9 minutes remaining on the clock. And now La Rochelle, their chance of getting a bonus point for being within 7, I would say that is now gone. But their chance of being able to get the bonus point in general for one more try, it's still on the cards. And at the moment, the way that it sits, the Stormers would be top of the table in this group if it remains this way. Are we doing the food session tomorrow, Hamish? Which games do you have lined up? So tomorrow, I've only got Bulls versus Northampton. Will be the only contest that we are covering on the channel. That kick has gone over, 42 points to 21. Now is the score. I'm impressed with Rita Wardy's stamina, though. He is still out there on the field, the loose hair prop for La Rochelle. He has had to play 72 minutes at this point in time. La Rochelle translates to the Little Rock. Love this name now that I know this. Okay, so we Bry. Says Ruby. Have you seen Don't Be a Menace to Society Jazz? Says Sock. And Saints look strong. Yeah, they've got a very nice side. Right, they're going to carry on in this contest. JJ Kutsia still getting a bit of medical attention. Time has been turned back on. And they are starting up. Kicked off straight into the sun. Tricky one to claim. And it's nicely picked up by La Rochelle. Again, that is the set restart of the Stormers that has struggled throughout this contest. It's actually not the only time this season that we've seen it have a couple little mistakes. Now, balls there, La Rochelle, 22 metres out from the line. Dylan Lades going quick hands, shoveled on now for La Rochelle. We're heading towards the sideline. Ruan now making the tackle on his opposite number, Kuyu. I'm back across to the right. He has played a long game in this contest for La Rochelle as well. He did go with the 6-2 split off of their bench, Kuyu. Now back across, Dylan Lades to Dane Vufu, who's probably been, I would say, the best player on the field for La Rochelle. Little flick pass out the back door, rush defence. Now La Rochelle get it moving. Still 40 metres to go. Offside, I think was the call there by the ref. No, in fact, he's just said you were offside, get back on, and they did. And then a knock on from La Rochelle. And 66 plus is the underdog pick. Now 6 minutes on the clock still remaining. Saracens versus Sharks. We are only sitting 25 minutes away from the kickoff of that contest. I will be covering that one on the channel too. So anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I think La Rochelle were potentially trying to ask for the playing of the 9 penalty there, but didn't receive it. Ready to kick this one towards the sideline. And there's going to be Dani Vufu. Let's put it out about 15 metres from the try line. In fact, so they did actually get that penalty. What is the next game for the Stormers, says Hayno? The next game, I believe, is up against the Lions. Just around the corner. There we go. Yeah, the Lions it will be 7 days' time now. So actually a very similar kickoff to this one. And then the week after that, they've got the Bulls. It's on the 28th of December, or that is 27th for you guys in South Africa. Thrown in by La Rochelle, looking for the rolling maul. The Stormers defending with about 6 in there, trying to go through the middle. JD Schickerling's got that ball, although he's had it ripped back off him by La Rochelle, and now just flattening over the top of the breakdown there for the Stormers. I'm not sure how legal it was, but it's effective as they have got the possession back. Similani now going off to the left-hand side. Can we have a Q&A in between, Hamish? Says, I really don't think there's that much that's like interesting to tell you guys in terms of the Q&A. Normally, like any type of questions that get asked, we'll answer them in the chat, but I don't think it's something that specifically, like, I'm really not that exciting, you know. But now it's sitting there at the moment, Stormers having to defend again. Big shot coming in from Sasha Feinberg Ngume Zulu. I have questions you can ask them on here, though. We'll answer them when they come through. And next game, Sharks and Southampton, I think. So Sharks have got Saracens in the contest just around the corner. Do you see that Ben Earl will be making his way off the bench? Elliot Daly starting at 15. He was in some great form for the British and Irish Lions before picking up the injury. Ball back in the hands of the Stormers. Khan kicking this one downfield. Can you update us on how nailing the beard went? I assume that's nailing the deck. And yeah, no, the deck went all right. Got the job done. One's gone into touch. I think it's going to be a 50-22 here for the Stormers. See Dylan Mart starting to struggle a little bit. Nope, La Rochelle are done. Says Sasha in 42-21. Can La Rochelle come back from this? No. But they can still potentially get a bonus point if they were to get themselves one more try. There's a big game at the Moses Stadium in Durban. What is it? So that is going to be the match between the Sharks and the Saracens, I believe. I'll be at the game for Stormers versus Lions, says Philip. We have there. Why didn't Ethan Hooker? Why didn't Ethan Hooker not feature as much as he should have this year? So you're saying that he didn't feature enough, or he did feature enough? There's kind of the double entendre in the middle of that one. I assume you're saying he didn't feature enough, but he probably featured much more than anticipated. You know, he got that game up against New Zealand. In fact, he got both games up against New Zealand. After that, got a lot of opportunities throughout November too. So probably more game time than most coach would have given a young player. We have their plus bot wins were established. Says Sash and still young. Now looking for the offload. And of course that return of Kurtley Ardenson near the end of the season would have given him more time. 10% play time in the year, says Ruby. So how much game time though did someone like Vincent Tchuka get? You know, scores 2 tries up against the Barbarians, then gets dropped from the squad. Like, it's brutal. At the end of the day, he did get almost as much time as Andre Pollard out there on the field. But, you know, like Rasi is building depth. He'll have time to be able to test out Ethan Hooker more because got to remember someone like a Makazole Mapimpi now is over the hill for the Box. They're more than likely not going to go back to him. So Hooker will still get his time out there on the field. But once again, more opportunities than half the young New Zealand players. You know, someone like Ruben Love would have loved 10% of time for the ABs. He only got 1 start, and that was the last game of the year. Now ready for the scrum. 5 metres out from the line here for La Rochelle. De Lamart is one-dimensional, says Flash TV. That makes it even worse, doesn't it? The fact that he's one-dimensional, as you say, and he scored 2 tries and had 3 clean breaks today. So surely if he's one-dimensional, you should shut that down, stop him from scoring 2 tries, right? Faf still playing, or still part of South Africa squad? No, he only got that chance in July, got injured, and then from there hasn't really gone back. And he's been on standby a couple of times, I believe. Another penalty going the way of La Rochelle at scrum time. Now this one's going to be kicked into touch. Just the 1 minute now remaining on the clock. John Dobson, he'll be happy enough with how this game's gone. They led by 9 at half time. They scored 2 quick fire tries. Then from there, struggling just a little bit. What is Razor doing? Is he still experimenting with the squad, or has it been established? Didn't use Love and a few others. Honestly, I don't really know what his plan is. I think it was just trying to get wins this year. We didn't see a huge amount of rotation, although saying that, there were still a few guys that did get the chance, such as Fabian Holland, who did end up winning Breakthrough Player of the Year Last year, the player who got the chance was Satiti, who won Breakthrough Player of the Year. So obviously there are some young, talented players. And cutting it close, even Colby can't do that. Can't do at that speed at this rate. I think Ethan will be the difference of the Rugby World Cup. Not saying you were wrong, though. Says Ruby. So you feel like Hooker should have got much more game time than he got, right? All I'd say is there'd be so many young All Blacks who would take the 10%. Going off to the right-hand side. Now going in behind. Chance here to pass it out wide for La Rochelle. We've just ticked over the 80-minute siren. Does mean any other stoppage in this game will be over. That's a brilliant attack and run from the replacement. Lock on off the feet for ROCHELLE, so he has to let it go. Dylan Lades. Across to the left, they've got one last chance to be able to secure a bonus point in this contest. That looked like he was in touch. The ball is out now. When I say one-dimensional, I mean he could never do what Colby or could never do what Colby or Aronson do, I assume that is, from Splash TV. Although he probably doesn't need to, does he? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that he'd love to be a Springbok, but at the same time, I feel like he showed throughout that Carling Curry Cup season that he's going to be one of those guys who can just be relied on as a battering ram out wide. Plus, he hasn't got the headgear. Ethan secured the most high ball this year. Says Sasha, whose ball. The game is now over. That ball's gone into touch, and the end scored 42 points to 21. So a bit of a brutal one for La Rochelle, because if they had lost 42-0, they still would have got roughly the same out of this game. No bonus points, but of course a young side that have learned a lot from being out there on the field and probably lost by a much smaller margin than they expected. Calling Dylan Mart one-dimensional is Rich. He's only 20 years of age, can work on that easy. He's got 2 tries. He definitely has a step on him. Just not the battering ram. Says Ryan there. And man, it's a force in the year for Ethan. And after 2027, the box will still have the Sasha FM. I'd like to think so. He shouldn't be retired by then. He's only young. He runs like it hurts. Says Splash TV. It certainly hurts when you try and tackle him. And Ethan and Sasha in the centres. Says Sash. And there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We've got 3 minutes. Then we're popping straight over to that Sharks versus Saracens live stream. So there are hardly any gaps in between. By the way, according to the YouTube gods, you were my 4th most watched YouTube channel. 2025. I do that information as you will. Says Big Rig in there as well. And thanks for the commentary. Says I Lollipop. I'm not actually sure who my top 5 was on my YouTube thingy. I have to have a look at it at some stage. But nonetheless, 3 minutes time. We're back for the Sharks versus Saracens. I will see you all very soon.